Life is happening too fast. I can't do it, Jeanette.
I know.
There's too much life going on.
It's hard.
Like, I don't know what this is. Oh, you know what this is? The mantra. I didn't bring my laptop.
Oh.
Yeah. And, Jeanette, I'm failing. I'm failing at life. I didn't bring my laptop.
That's okay.
It's like what's coming of the world.
It sounds like we're adulting.
I didn't bring a laptop. I didn't get some stuff put up.
It sounds like real life.
Somebody tried to take a shot at President Trump. Like, I don't know what the world's coming to. I don't know.
I don't know either, man.
I mean, my dog has puppies now. Mm-hmm. Now they're all dependent on me, and you know, I can't let my dog just be there alone. I have to, like, you know, support her and buy her doggy food because
you became an
adopted
dog parent.
It's like, dang it, no.
You don't just have one animal. You have all of them.
I did not sign up to be a dog parent, an adopted dog parent.
Dude, your responsibilities just like freaking went up. You're like, dude.
I'm all complaining about this right now. There's like people in the world with real problems, you know, hurricanes going on and all that. And I'm like, I did not want to be an adopted dog parent to a kid that's not mine, damn it.
Oh, damn it.
Feed them.
All these puppies.
Oh, well, I guess with that, we're live.
I think we are.
Oh, is that what just happened?
I think that just happened. Just like life, it just happened.
Life just happened. We just went live. Dude, we're back. There's so much going on. I had notes, but I didn't bring notes with me.
It's okay. It sounds like we're just, you know.
We're hanging on tooth and nail.
We're letting real life happen.
It's like, oh no. I don't know what to do. The dogs cry all night and I can't sleep. No, they don't. They don't. Actually, it's super easy. Like, if they do, it's funny. Like, anybody that's, I guess, had puppy dogs, they know this.
Yeah.
But they do like this funny little, like, whelping thing. Like if they're, like, trying to bark with their mouth closed or something.
Oh.
It's kind of cute, you know what I mean? And then since they don't have the strength to get up and walk, they kind of, like, push each other along the ground like if they're a worm or something.
They're like dragging themselves. I just saw one drag themselves and fall on its back.
Like, I'm so tired. I'm just so tired. I can't make it.
They haven't figured it out. But their little legs can't support their big bodies. Oddly enough, they got tiny little legs and their bodies are disproportional to their legs.
Just like human kids, like human babies. Like our heads are disproportionate to our bodies.
To our bodies, yeah.
Like, what was that? If you grew up with the same size head as you had when you were a baby, you'd like, if it was the same proportion as when we were children, we would be like freaks of nature. We'd be monsters.
Wow.
I don't know. So, you know, I'm trying to go a full podcast just for like the algorithm of not really like having a drink on here, but having a drink is kind of our thing, just to see what it does to the algorithm. But this smells so delightful. It's pink lemonade tequila. Dude,
that is wild.
I mean,
it
just sounds delightful. I saw that and I was like, I feel like being a pink lemonade tonight. A pink lady having lemonade tequila.
It came from Rancho La Gloria.
I don't know. It just sounded delightful.
Dang.
After like the kind of day, you know what I mean? Like,
it reminds me, the artwork on the front looks like a little Frida Kahlo. like this is her tequila ranch.
You know,
oh my, that is nice.
You know, we do leadership jobs, and you know, and anybody that does leadership work of any kind at all, I tip my hat to you. It's hard. It's demanding. It's stressful. You know, and the people that you try to advise and you try to move them forward and you want what's best for everybody. And it's weird. It's like I don't know if it's helping people. It's when you're trying to mentor people, helping them overcome their challenges is the hard part, and that's kind of what's draining. I don't know. Am I making sense a little bit on this?
No, you are. You really are. And also, like, you hope that something resonates, and you hope that something might inspire them. You don't know what inspires people, and you don't even know if you are inspirational.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think to myself, like, the bosses that I've had and the ones that have made an impact on me, good or bad.
Yeah.
I've had good bosses. I've had terrible bosses.
Right.
And all of them have made an impact on me one way or another. And you hope that you're a part of, like, the part that they are like, oh, you know, I learned something from her. You hope you're not like the one who like, man, she's terrible.
Or when you have to tell an employee no. When you have to tell them no, it's like, do you understand that the no is not, it's not against you personal. It's not anything against, it's just nothing against you. It's like a no, and it's hard to be leadership and to turn a no into a learning opportunity to be like, well, this is why I'm saying no. And maybe this is what we can even do that is probably maybe not so much a no, but it's like building off of your initial idea, your initial request, or your initial action, and where we can take it.
Yeah.
But it's like you never want your people to like to feel like you're penalizing them by saying no, because I think our employees, they're stuck in their departments, right?
Yeah.
They're stuck in their departments. They're stuck on their job duties. They're stuck on their part of the business.
And I think that's probably why it's hard for them to understand a manager. You're looking at the big picture. They're only seeing a small part.
Yeah, and then it's curious. You have the one, and again, anybody that's in a leadership role that's listening to us right now, hopefully out of our 20 people listening to us, 30, 20, 15, maybe there's like one person.
Maybe there's one just
downloading maybe there's somebody that's listening that's a supervisor. Maybe there's somebody that's listening that's an assistant manager, a manager. Maybe they're like a store in the mall, like a yeah,
Oh, maybe someone's a general
Wetzel's
manager
Pretzels or something like that.
Ann's
Maybe
Pretzels.
Yeah, maybe there's somebody like in that kind of business, and they're listening to us, and they're like, yeah, like, yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? And they can relate to this whole thing. It's like, it's not going to the business that's hard. It's not even believing in the business, seeing the vision of the business. None of that's the hard part.
No.
And honestly, I like the organizational planning. Mm-hmm. Like it's cool.
And it's very necessary.
Yeah, it is.
All of it goes hand in hand. And I think today, the best way I was able to actually train another of my peers, I went over numbers and just like, this is numbers. And to some people, it's like boring numbers. Like, why do we have to crunch all this? But I'm like, if you can see why and what we do that drives this, if you can see the numbers and see who's responsible for what, you get an idea about how to drive the business just by looking at the numbers, like what you need to do. And it's not just numbers. When I look at my numbers, it's like, oh, we need to work on this. So we need to push this more. And just to get someone to get it and to make it
like
click.
They click.
And
it's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to ask you for a raise, but when you say, let's look at the metrics in my performance, this is what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Yes. Because your work will impact this. Did you sell 20 more cases of Coca-Cola today? Yeah, because you really pushed the product. Great job. That's you. Yeah. And over the course of the year, you've been pushing this product or you've been trying to sell this service and you've made an impact on it and your efforts have shown. Yeah, let's talk about what your reward and what your increase is going to be or what have you, right? And it's weird because I don't know. I don't remember hearing that when I was growing up. I don't know if they talk to kids about stuff like that anymore growing up.
I don't know if they did
because everybody gets a participation ribbon anymore.
Well, that's true, but I mean, in high school, did you have like student counselors who try to like help you with your future, like applying for colleges? And I mean, I think maybe they were forced.
I had an interesting. My counselor told me I was a success story because I was graduating high school, and there may not be college in the future for me, but maybe a good trade school.
Is that what your student counselor told you?
Yeah. Hey,
oh,
cheers,
wow.
friend.
Cheers. Wow. Sucker.
Oh my goodness, that's delightful. I love saying it is so funny. It's
so delightful.
I like being the big guy in the room, being like, "Oh, that's so delightful."
That's so delightful.
Here, take a drink of that. It's super good. Well, welcome back, folks. Episode 20-something odd, almost 30. We're getting there, and it's been a minute. Right? Isn't that amazing? I don't know who decided to make tequila and infuse it with pink lemonade, but sir, I tip my hat to you. This is amazing.
You know what
And
would
you
even...
just made my evening. You have made my evening, sir.
Honestly, you know what would elevate it? A wedge of lemon.
Now you're just trying to get classy, Jeanette.
I know,
Just stop.
dude. A
Just
wedge.
stop.
It needs a wedge.
Oh my God. So a lot of stuff going on. So today is, I don't know what today's day is. Today is the 17th. It's Wednesday the 17th.
Yeah.
Okay, just to give you context, today's Wednesday the 17th. Whoops, that's not my calendar. This is why I try to bring my laptop and my notes. But Monday, July 15th, first batch of puppies were born.
Oh.
July 13th
What's the word for
was the first assassination attempt in 40 years since
That
Reagan
was
in
wild.
the 80s. Okay, less than 24 hours later, I already heard about conspiracy theories online.
Oh,
And we could talk about that. And we could talk about that in a
conspiracy
minute.
theories. Okay.
But we're going down the timeline right now.
Okay.
July, because it's been a minute since you and I have been on. I went to New York.
Yeah, you
I've been
did.
going through a lot of stuff. You've been super busy going through a lot of stuff.
I've had family visit from out of town for the last 3 weeks.
So we passed June.
Dude, June was, and I knew going into June it was going to be like that.
Yeah. So what happened in June? I mean, just take a wild guess. Wild
What
guess.
happened in June?
Well,
We had fires.
June 6th.
Oh, June
No,
6th.
June 6th. That's the anniversary of D-Day.
Of D-Day? No
yeah,
way.
well, June 6th, the day that'll live in infamy. Remember?
Oh, I thought you were talking about in general what's happened since. I was like the fires in Rio Doce.
Oh yeah, there's fires
Okay. We're
all
talking
over the
bigger.
world. No, I'm just kind
We're
of
talking big.
big.
Big
We can
stuff.
talk about a little stuff. But in June, you had the the day that will live in infamy, June 6th. Right.
Wow.
Okay, here's one that I talk about a lot because I think it's super important.
What is it that you talk about?
June 5th. So June 6th, June 6th is super important. It's when young men put their lives on the line to bring down tyranny and save Europe from the grasp of an evil madman. Right? June 6th. And God bless, I've said this a lot to you, and I think there's a lot of historians that say that humans are animals that live in amnesia. We forget our past. And it's unfortunate because...
We repeat the same history.
And that's something we hadn't had a chance to talk about. What's going to happen here in the United States? We fought a war against anti-Semitism. We fought, so a lot of stuff. So what about June 5th? Any guess what happened on June 5th? And this happened in our lifetime. I'll even give you the date, 1989. What happened on June 5th, 1989? Folks...
Oh, you're talking about the Berlin Wall?
No.
No, damn it. When was the Berlin Wall? Didn't it happen in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s? When did that happen?
It did, but June 5th.
June 5th.
While you throw me a guess, I'm going to look up the Berlin Wall. Oh, wow, you're right. It was in 1989. The Berlin Wall fell in 1989.
I just didn't
Wow.
know the month or the day.
Dude, you blew my mind. I can't believe you knew that.
Mind blown.
November 9th. Wow. Okay, so June 5th. That is when the Chinese government cracked down on the student protest in Tiananmen Square.
Oh, okay.
So, I just...
In 89?
1989, June 5th.
Oh, wow. How weird.
And it's a lot of... It's really important for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
It's like, there were kids in China that wanted freedom. They wanted more freedom. They wanted more democratic freedoms. Okay, so there's that. China has done a really good job of eliminating the history. A lot of people don't know what Tiananmen Square is. It's also I'm glad you said the Berlin Wall. What happened in the Berlin Wall? People from the East were ready to be free. That was kind of the end of the Soviet Union. That they just couldn't stop it anymore.
Yeah.
That was dissolution of the Soviet Union. They were people wanted their democracy. They wanted freedom, and freedom movements don't get put down, and they don't get put down when they happen. But it happened in China. The Chinese army put down a democratic movement, and you hadn't seen anything since then.
Oh,
Do you know what I
crazy,
mean?
yeah.
So it's kind of an important thing. And you talk about like where China's been and where they're going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know. I always think about that.
There was one more thing. I just can't remember now. It was on the tip of my tongue. And then I said Berlin Wall, and that idea just flew out.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And then, of course, you have, then you have
I do.
Juneteenth.
I do have some. Juneteenth is interesting. It's a new. It's
It's
like
a new one, but
it's like
I mean,
Emancipation Day.
exactly.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. I mean, obviously, it's just something that
I
needs
don't
to be
know.
remembered now. So
I mean, it's important. You know, and we can go along. We can go into a lot of conversations about Juneteenth because here's
what
the
else
thing.
happened?
Emancipate, because Juneteenth is it's supposed to be like Emancipation Day, the day that slaves were set free and whatnot, and it's important that history is celebrated in that sense. But what's sad is slavery exists everywhere.
It does.
It still exists now.
It still exists now.
It still exists now.
It's just in a different form, and
Oh, yeah.
people don't talk about it.
But with the movements here on the United States and all that, the traction, like there's nobody alive nowadays in the United States that lived in South Confederacy slavery.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk about California wanting to pay reparations, everybody has to pay reparations in California. Nobody in California, unless they came from like some weird country, unless they immigrated from some weird country this decade, this year, what do you know what I mean? But in a sense, anybody that was born in America that lives in California right now, they were not slave owners. I mean, just throwing that off.
I mean, that we know of.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't talked about. No one really talks about it.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
So on Sunday, you bring these delicious snacks.
Every time, right? But doesn't it like it just kind of goes hand in hand? And
This
it's
is
a
the
simple
Hormel one,
thing.
right? This is like
Yeah.
the Hormel one. It's got like the crackers, the cheese,
cheese.
and the salami.
The salami
Dude.
is the best one, and then second best to me.
This
is
is
the
probably
pepperoni.
like bottom of the barrel salami, and it's probably the pieces of cheese that fall on the ground at the cheese store. And somebody says, "Let's sell it to Hormel, and they'll package it and sell it." And like we're eating it like if it's like served on this plastic golden platter, like if it's the best thing we've ever
But
eaten.
what it is, it's like it's salty, and when you drink, I don't know, maybe it's because you're losing
I don't know.
salt in your body. I have no idea.
That is delicious.
But it
Those are
always
so
makes
good. So, something really. I mean, we're celebrating dates right now.
Okay.
We're celebrating dates, and I feel like I should be the one that says this to bring this up to you guys. I read about this past weekend, and I feel like Americans out there, you all should know about this. This is really important. Jeanette, you should know about this.
I always need to know about it.
I mean, this is going to impact all of us independently, but in a very personal way.
You're holding on to a really big secret that I'm even shocked about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
honestly, like, it can be that surprising.
I don't
and
know.
this is, and
Should
this,
I,
this
should
might
I,
be.
should I give you the shocker or the semi-shocker first?
Okay, well, first off, the lead to this is this might be one of those things where
I will. I'll start off with the less.
will truly
impactful.
maybe throw us into one of those. Are they conspiracy theories? No, this is
maybe.
This is actually okay. So just do it. Just
Okay, so
drop
here's
the
what
bomb.
here's what we're gonna do.
Drop it.
You have an ice age, and you have an asteroid hitting the Earth, just killing all the dinosaurs, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like the ice age is like the lesser of the both evils. So I'm going to throw the ice age out first. This past weekend, Shannon Doherty, at the age of 53, passed away.
I know.
90210.
So did Richard Simmons.
Yes, that was the next one. Richard Simmons.
I know.
Dude.
I know.
Dude.
And then I read something where someone's like, "Didn't he already die?" I'm like, "Oh, that's a good point. Didn't he?"
Did he?
I have no.
Are we? Is this like? Is Richard Simmons a Mandela effect now?
I don't know.
Survivor?
That's what is being
my
out
God.
there.
Oh my.
Yeah, people are well, not people, but there's some people
So,
like.
Okay. Let's
mean, I
start
just
with
social media.
Shannon Doherty.
Shannon Doherty, dude.
I mean, was that the chick that all the girls wanted to be like? She was wild. She was beautiful. That's the guy. She was the girl that all the guys wanted to get with. I think the blonde one was the one that all the guys wanted to marry. But Shannon Doherty was the wild one that everybody wanted to like have a good time with. I mean, am I right or am I wrong? I don't know.
I really don't know, dude.
I don't know.
I really don't know.
Because we were pretty young when 90210 came out.
Well, we were like, what, high school? Junior high?
I would say more junior high.
Junior high?
I think by the time you and I got into high school, it was already like in its like 9th season.
No way, yes.
But I think when it first came out, you and I were like kind of like middle school-ish.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like going into my freshman year, it was still something that
Was
definitely was on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how many of the 90210 kids we've lost already, but
Oh,
Shannon
Dylan.
Doherty and Dylan.
Jason Priestley. Jason Priestley. What's his name? The other one. Who
don't
played
know.
Dylan?
I don't know.
I have no idea, dude.
Here's to our 90210 cast that have passed away. If you're an 80s or 90s bum like me and Jeanette are,
Oh.
here's to our fallen 90210 cast that have deceased, Yeah.
Oh, man.
Cheers. Salute.
Cheers,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then Richard Simmons, who... Please hit me up with this. This is delicious. Who did not watch Richard Simmons at least once growing up? Okay, and his was an interesting story, wasn't it?
And his reels are going everywhere. It's like, sweat into the oldies. Basically, it's like his whole gimmick was like making exercise fun and easy.
So-
and anyone can do it.
No, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he get his start when like a female friend of his or something said that they were worried that he was going to die because he was so overweight?
Yes, he actually was the one who made the life change. Yes.
Yeah, because I don't remember if he was in the hospital or something, but a female friend of his or something, I don't know if it was like somebody that he really liked. I don't know the details, but she told him that he's such a good guy, but that because of his weight, he was going to die. And that she kind of laid it out like that.
Yeah.
And he was the one that made the life change. Now, there is a Mandela effect. All right, so do you know what a Mandela effect is?
Yes.
Okay,
And
so real fast, Mandela effect for the people. If you're a normal person like me and Jeanette, and you're boring like us, and corporate world and blah blah blah. If you're like us and you don't know what Mandela effect, there's a theory that there's a normal timeline we all lived in.
yes.
But something happened, and people have memories of Mandela from
Like-
South Africa, him dying, and then there's but then he didn't die. But then there's this memory of him where he's an older, an African leader, a great leader in Africa, where he didn't die.
Yes.
And so they call that the Mandela effect because that's like the first memory people have where it's like, wait, we remember him being dead, but he's alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every time you have something like that where you think you remember it one way, like the Monopoly guy, did he wear a monocle? Some people say that originally he didn't wear a monocle, but then some people say he did wear a monocle, the Monopoly guy, but then they're like saying, no, if you look back at history, he didn't have a monocle. He didn't have a monocle. So that was like a Mandela effect thing. Everybody remembers him with a monocle, when in reality he didn't.
Fruit of the Loom is another one. People remember that Fruit of the Loom was actually, there was a cornucopia in the logo, and you can't really see it, but this one person on the internet, God, you love the internet.
I love the internet.
I mean, it's still fascinating, whether true or not, but it's still fun. So she's like, no, I can prove it. And she pulled out
a shirt
with the cornucopia.
And Fruit of the Loom has come out, said they've never used it in their logo, but she has it.
And it doesn't say hecho en Mexico.
It doesn't say Hecho en Mexico. That's right. They would be a cornucopia. Okay. So, do you know what the Richard Simmons Mandela effect theory is?
It was the one with the bandana.
Yes, the headband.
Yes, not the bandana, the headband.
The headband. I thought he wore a headband.
I did too.
But apparently they say the Mandela effect is he didn't. That that the true memory is he didn't have a headband, but a lot of us do remember him wearing a headband.
Honestly, this drink right here could use a little bit of tequilas. Let me
Dude,
try this.
This thing will mix with anything.
I know.
It's not overly sweet. It's really delightful.
I kind of want to see if I develop something new. But no, the thing is, I remember him with the headband.
I think so too, right?
And then the other day I was like, okay, so I like to look on Instagram the reels. It's just so funny. And this one guy on one of the reels, he's like, didn't Richard Simmons already die?
Wow.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I kind of thought he did too. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I was just like accepting of it. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess he's
But we don't but that's the thing about human memory. Human memory is the most infallible thing.
And maybe we just dreamt
And-
it, or maybe it was just,
and-
and then maybe because he suggested it, now it became a Mandela effect, whether it was true or not.
Power of suggestion.
Exactly. So it's
And
kind of like now I doubt it. I'm like,
People
oh wow.
go to court based on your memory, and your memory is horrible.
Yeah. I
You
know.
Yeah, they go to prison based on your memory.
Dude, some days I can remember every single movie, and then other days I'm like, what is that movie?
I'm
The one
making
with
up
the-
movies.
Like, what is that one movie?
I don't know who's in the Breakfast Club, or if the Breakfast Club was all the kids before they went to college at breakfast in Tiffany's. I don't know.
I barely watched this documentary on the kids from the Breakfast Club.
Not the Breakfast at Tiffany's. St. Elmo's Fire.
Huh? St. Elmo's Fire? Rat Pack, or the Rat Pack? No, what
Yeah.
do they call them? The Brat Pack.
The Brat Pack.
The Brat Pack.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe the Breakfast Club, once they graduate high school, they all go to college together. Now you have St. Elmo's Fire. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like, it could very well be. I don't know, Jeanette.
I don't know. Now
We
it's all
just-
confusing.
Dude, human memory's not that great, though.
This elevated this.
Did it really?
Yeah. It was
Ooh.
too sweet. Hold on.
I'm gonna take a drink this down a little bit, and I'll grab some of yours, pour it in. Okay,
They're like friends.
dude.
They're like friends in here.
Dude, I love
you
it.
need one of.
Okay, well, let me drink this down a
Okay.
little bit, and I'll add it. Okay, so wow, holy smokes, that's crazy. So
Is there another example of a Mandela effect? Well, anyway, people really do believe that we're jumping through timelines. Or
and so there, and I haven't heard about this in a while, but there was this child prodigy kid, and I don't know if I should say like child prodigy kid, but he's a kid that's super smart.
yeah,
And he's like really big into physics. He has all these theories and all these ideas about physics. And he was like 11, 12, 13.
yeah,
I mentioned this in one of the past podcasts, but he said he's come up with a theory that when CERN was fired,
oh yeah,
that the timeline split. And so no, or not the timeline split. Yeah, the timeline split. And the current timeline ceased to exist as it was. Like, CERN destroyed the world. But then when the timeline split, we're living like this alternate timeline. But for us, it's like a blink of an eye thing. It's like you went to
Ooh.
bed one night
and then we just
and the life ceased to exist. But when you open your eyes, you woke up, you were living in an alternative timeline because CERN destroyed the main timeline. That's getting kind of like out there.
It is getting,
it's getting
out there. But have you ever had moments in your life, especially at work for me? Sorry, this is probably whining Wednesday.
I know, whining
but
Wednesday.
whining Wednesday. But like sometimes I will be at work and something happens, maybe news drops about something, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that just doesn't make sense. I'm
Yeah.
like, why are you? I'm like, that doesn't make sense, and I'm like, what? And then I think to myself, that came out of nowhere. Like, I think to myself, what the hell?
Yeah.
Either we jumped a timeline, or I'm in a sort of purgatory.
so-
I'm in purgatory. Is what
I
I
know,
always tell myself.
we're already dead.
I'm like,
We're already
must be
dead.
in
This is hell.
purgatory.
This is hell. We're already in
Well,
hell.
I guess I'm gonna work this impossible situation.
But it's kind of so. The implications of this is, if you're a normal everyday person, you're working, you wake up in the morning, you go to work, you have dinner with your wife, and go to the gym, whatever. For the normal person that's like very logical, very intelligent, not conspiracy theory minded and all that stuff, to hear somebody say like, "Oh, the timeline split," they'd be like, "Dude, you're nuts. What are you smoking?" You know what I mean? Like, because how do you wrap your head around that? How do you test it? How do you even argue that?
Well, I mean, think about like, I don't know, the concept of things that seem impossible. I was recently just watched Oppenheimer again, which it's just too damn long.
I think you like the actors.
I just
Is it who's that? Who played Oppenheimer?
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah,
Are you in love with Cillian Murphy?
I'm not sure, but I definitely can't confirm nor deny. I'm confused. I don't know. Some days I might be. Some days I'm
Some
not.
days I feel like I'm in love with him. I don't know.
Some days I am. I don't know. It just depends. But I mean, it's just too damn long, and it is an interesting movie. But they're talking about splitting atoms and
Right.
things that just seem. I mean, people who understand physics are on a different plane level.
If we grew up in the 40s, and say in the state of New Mexico,
Yeah.
1940 state of New Mexico, people driving like Studebagers, Ford, dirt roads everywhere.
Oh, and what's weird about it? What something that didn't even occur to me, and it wasn't until I'm watching Oppenheimer for like the fifth frickin' time. Mm-hmm. Los Alamos, duh. This is like it was built.
This is the state.
So Los Alamos City, the town in New Mexico, was built as a result because they needed the scientists there.
Yeah.
And like it was a city built for them.
For them.
I want to go see it, and I live here in New Mexico.
They took the land from all the different counties. Everybody that lived there, they took the land. They took it.
It never clicked before.
I mean, I've been there. To go in, it's like one road in, one road out. You drive up this cliff. There's one road that goes around Los Alamos that you can go up there on. But they have an airport up there because so many people fly there.
Yeah.
But it's just totally. I mean, it's just not what you expect, right?
It's
like a college town, like a 1950s college
weird.
town.
It's really weird. Like I had my old college roommate. Mm-hmm. She actually worked at Los Alamos when we were in college. Like during the summer, she was working in the labs, like collecting samples and stuff.
Samples of what?
Just stuff.
When you say samples, I think of stuff that's like
coming out of your body.
Yeah.
No, not those samples. Well, maybe they were testing them.
That's funny that you read my mind on that.
That's why we're friends. I get you, man. I get you. I thought the same thing.
Oh my God.
I'm like, yep. We're both all giggling like little kids.
I wonder how many people thought the same thing when they heard collecting samples and specimens.
Collecting samples.
They're like,
when you say specimens, then for sure.
Somebody's driving in traffic right now saying she's just thinking like, is Jeanette talking about collecting bodily fluids? Huh.
I'm not talking spit, y'all. No, I'm not saying spit.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. I don't know what to say. I do not know what to say. My mind is blown. Mm-hmm. Okay. So your friend works in Los Alamos.
So she worked at Los Alamos, and, at the time, she was making, I don't know, in my mind, when you're in college, you don't make a lot, doing little side hustles like waiting tables and, working on campus. Mm-hmm. So she would make enough to help her throughout the school year, and she would only put in a few months out of the year, and it would be enough for her to support herself to an extent, right? Whatever scholarships couldn't handle.
We do what we do. We make money and all that stuff, right? Yeah.
But after just talking with her, and for as long as I had known her, just the downside is that you have to get, as an employee, you have to get tested. You have to go through a physical screening. Yeah. So I mean. The people who work there, whether they're able to say it or not,
right.
They're not really. They don't really know what they're exposing themselves to.
Right.
So
maybe they do, maybe they don't.
Maybe they do or they don't,
right.
Or maybe it's like she couldn't say, and maybe I don't want to know and don't want to ask. But
right.
I mean, it's not. I don't know. It's not safe for your health. I don't know. God knows what they do there, but I guess that goes with anything, right? I mean, working for.
Okay, so
testing facilities.
The deal with and let me think here. This the guy. Okay, I don't know if this is the guy. This I don't know if this is the guy. So there was a guy in Los Alamos, and what's funny is
isn't there a New Mexico program built for people who have worked for Los Alamos?
Say that again.
Isn't there a program for people who have worked at Los Alamos?
I don't know. I was looking this thing up real fast.
Does that sound familiar?
So there was so what's funny about Los Alamos? It's about the bomb.
Yes, absolutely.
And you know what science, what if there's one thing historically that you can discern about really good scientists is that they become really good humanitarians, and as really good humanitarians they realize how destructive science can be. Mm-hmm. And they don't want that for the world. You know what I mean? Like they like Oppenheimer, Einstein. They knew the power of the atom. They on paper they knew what it was. They knew that it could be bad.
Yes.
And part of the reason we developed it first was because we thought Hitler was going to get it, and if Hitler was going to got it first, it would have been horrible. He would have been, who knows? Hitler probably would have dropped bombs without thinking twice. I'm going to knock the United States out of the war, drop some nuclear bombs on them. Then the United States can't make war against, Germany no more, right?
Yeah.
So, like Oppenheimer, like a lot of these people were against the bomb. So I don't know if this is the guy's name. If it's I think this might be it, Louis Slotin. This may very well be it. I think it is. So it was a guy that was against. He didn't like doing the work on the nuclear programs. Again, another scientist, humanitarian, kind of didn't like the fact that bomb and all that stuff. So he was working at Los Alamos, and so he was getting ready to leave to like resign from his job. And is this? I'm trying to find the. I'm trying to find the. This may or may not be him, but he was showing people how to do like an experiment. I thought it was called chasing the dragon or something like that, but it was like a really dangerous experiment, and he was showing it to his. They were either students or new lab partners or something like that, and the experiment went wrong. A lot of the people like took off running to get out of there before they were exposed to massive amounts of radiation. Oh, he was exposed to like an intense amount of radiation, and as a result of it, he absorbed a lot of radiation. Now, when he was dying, they were recording what was happening to his body almost by like a minute by minute. From in some senses, they were saying second by second.
What effect it was doing to the human body?
So that way, how do you say that? How do you say that one thing? Saying you can't let a good.
You can't
let a good a tragedy go to waste or something like that. Rahm Emanuel said something like that from I think it was the Clinton administration or Obama administration. But anyway, so he was dying, and he died like within a week because radiation. So they were recording it, and so his death was really important in the sense that we knew what happened to the people's bodies. He died horribly. He got so much radiation, he just died horribly. And so radiation, you get burns on your hands,
but it makes you sick.
So it attacks
hair.
It attacks the soft tissue in your body. So think of all the soft tissues, not epidermis, not muscle. Think about like the lining of your stomach, the lining of your intestines, and all that stuff. So all the soft tissues in your body start to die and start to like essentially fall apart.
You're basically
and
out.
basically your organs in your body, everything in your body, and your joints, basically all turn to like mush. And you're feeling it all while it happens.
Oh God!
Like that's. I don't know if that's the worst of it or not, but essentially, you're dying a horrible death, and you feel it all, and there's nothing nobody can do for you.
Except put a bullet in your head.
It's like at some point, say like he's died from radiation poisoning.
Like,
just do something now.
Just do something. Like just stop.
Because at some point, the pain medicine can't do anything for you.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this was the right guy, but there was a guy in Los Alamos, and that's how he died. He was doing this really, really stupid, dangerous experiment, and he dropped the thing, and it went wrong, and he died from massive amounts of radiation poisoning, which they recorded the data, they used it so that they know what happens when you're dying. Like when people were dying in Los Alamos or Chernobyl. they knew, like, we already had documented this is what happens when you have radiation poisoning. So it was kind of a known thing. It attacks the soft tissue of your body, but like at Chernobyl, it was like it happened. Like so many people died. All the firefighters that showed up on scene.
It's wild.
It's wild.
The whole thing is just wild. Like
Wow.
An abandoned city because of the radiation that was coming in.
Do you remember when that happened? Talking about the 80s, Tiananmen Square, the Berlin Wall. Do you remember Chernobyl?
I don't remember Chernobyl. It wasn't
I do.
until later on that I had a full understanding, and then that's what's even more shocking you get the full understanding of what
they were talking about, like Europe, like all of Europe.
They were trying to keep it a secret.
Yeah. Oh, the Soviet Union was.
Yeah.
But they were talking about like all of Europe was going to be poisoned. And then on top of that, talk about a connection to today. It's Ukraine. There's a war going on in Ukraine right now, and that's where Chernobyl is at.
Oh my god!
And Chernobyl was like the final straw that broke the camel's back for the Soviet Union. Like, that was like one of the final moments that showed the incompetence of communism. And it all falls apart.
That's wild.
And then here we are, 40 years later, and you have all these student movements to be uber liberal, socialist. And they're like, well, socialism isn't communism. Karl Marx, the father of communism, writes that socialism is the thing that leads to communism. He talks about it. Oh my God. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy. It's just crazy. But yeah, Ukraine, I mean, and we haven't talked about Ukraine in a while.
No, we
Ukraine's
haven't.
still going on. They're getting ready to get the first F-16s.
We've been talking about for Ukraine for a while, man.
Since it happened, since day one, you and I have been talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, Ukraine's like roughly, what do we say, a third the size of Texas?
Yeah, that's what you.
I mean, it's like the biggest country.
jeez.
It's like the biggest country in Europe. But it's only a third the size of Texas. So, way to go, Texas! Have with your big ego. Everything's bigger in Texas, including the landmass.
It's so freaking annoying that they do that in Texas, but yet it's so freaking brilliant. I hate them because I love it. I hate it because I love it, and
Frickin' Texas.
that's what annoys me about it.
My
Because I
dad-
love it.
My dad loved Texas. So, like a little segue about Texas. My dad was, Mexican. He was, born in America, Marines. And if you're from Texas, that sounds about right that you'd be a Marine. But my dad, was in the Marines, born in El Paso, Texas. And my father, he talked about two things in life: God and Texas.
Man, I just almost wanted to break out in that Cheech song, Mexican Americans.
God, you made me cough. That's so good.
Mexican. I heard it in my brain. I'm like,
Oh
what are
my
the
God,
words?
that's so funny. Yeah, Oh my God. And you know what's kind of funny is my dad was born in 35. He's older than dirt. He would be like, oh my God, what year is it now? He'd be 89.
Right?
He'd be like 89 right now.
What
But
day is it now?
he went to school in Texas. When in school, in Texas in his days, they taught you about a couple of things. They taught you about God, George Washington, United States, and Davy Crockett, Bowie,
Yes.
Davy Crockett, Bowie, Houston, and Austin. That's what they taught you about in Texas.
Really?
They didn't. And the Alamo. They didn't teach you about anything else. No, they did. They actually, my dad learned a lot. He was like, he was one of those old time guys that got like engineering jobs but never got a degree.
Yeah. Doesn't it taste good with
It
this?
does taste good. It does taste.
It's,
This Malibu cocktail drinks are amazing.
but it doesn't taste good on its own. It's
This
odd.
doesn't. I didn't.
I
try
mean,
this.
it tastes overly sweet, but this actually makes it taste
It
better.
makes it taste really good.
I know.
That is so super good.
I know.
Dude, way to go. Way to mix it up.
I know.
So Jeanette is mixing the Malibu cocktail pineapple with pink lemonade tequila. 2 thumbs way up.
I mean,
way to go.
hell yeah, right?
Way to go.
That was good.
Dude,
that is good.
that was a good call. That was a good call. So that's the Texas my dad grew up in. And
TV
and if Texas fought a war with Mexico today, my dad would have been the first guy, like at 80 some odd years old,
Yeah.
signed up and be like, "Let's go beat them again," because that's the Texas he came out of.
Yeah.
As crazy as that sounds, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mexican Americans. They
Mexican
have uncles
America.
like, or they have, what is it? They have kids like Cholo y Chala. I don't know.
Oh, you know, your song reminds me of that. America, F yeah. That's what your song reminds me of. Oh my god.
Oh my God.
Can I share one before we move on? Can I share something with you?
Oh, yes.
I got a new helmet.
A new helmet. Is this the helmet?
That's the
I
helmet.
saw it. I noticed.
Yeah. Do you know what kind of helmet that is? I mean, you can pick it up. It's
This looks like one that you would actually. Well, hold on. Let me.
it's got serial numbers on there, meaning that it was a real helmet.
This looks like. Hold on. Oh, it's sand.
There's a reason for that.
Because they were in the sand.
It's not sand though, but there's a reason for that. That is a World War One helmet.
You're freaking kidding me.
It's even got a stamp on one of the sides. Even has a stamp for the serial number for the factory that made it.
Oh, where did you get this?
Dude,
I noticed it right away when I sat down.
I just need to find a place to put it. But that's a World War One helmet.
Dude, and you know what's weird? That grain of sand right there is like a rock. Like,
Well, I'll tell you that in a second. Now, if you compared that to the later World War II going
Is
to the
that a
Korea
bullet?
helmet and all that.
did a bullet hit this part?
No,
Or
it's
is
just
it
where it
both?
was stored. Somebody stored that away. But that helmet that you're holding there is a hell of a lot thinner than this helmet up here.
Is it haunted?
I know you put it on and like, oh my god, I hear something. Dude, can you imagine that? So
I try not to.
that helmet.
Dude.
Hey, that helmet. If that is a true blue helmet from
It's
that era,
freaking heavy.
it's 100 years old.
Well, it's almost as heavy as like cast iron.
This one's heavier though.
It's heavier. That one's heavier.
Hmm.
Oh wow.
Yeah. This one. See the pattern on this one. The camel pattern on that one is a marine camel pattern. So you could pull that liner out and it's
Oh,
all
yeah.
still. And that's the helmet that they used to do
yeah.
everything on. They used to cook in them. They used to use them for water. If they were stuck in foxholes, they would do their duty in them.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. So those
someone's
helmets.
totally dutied in this one.
I probably got a helmet that was totally duty did.
I know,
But that's-
man. Oh, isn't history great?
I know, right? I mean, who's to say like in World War One helmet they didn't either?
I mean, who
I mean,
knows?
because
Then
of constant
that's it.
shelling. So come to find out when I'm researching it, so it has numbers of they didn't keep records of like all the ID numbers.
Yeah.
But the certain letters in the serial number on the side
Mm-hmm.
is indicative of where that helmet was made, because they made something like 2 million of them or something in the United States. They were
Yeah.
cranking them out like crazy by the end of the war. And it's made out of one. I mean, the way it was made is important. It's made out of one piece. It had to be lightweight, but it had to still be. If something hit it, it still had to be able to deflect it, so you wouldn't be killed. Granted, it was not that thick, so if it was like a direct shot directly on it, it would go through.
Is that why it has a sand in hopes that it would
No.
just graze it or just like? What?
So, the
Why?
initial paint job would give it a glare.
Oh.
So they would give it an initial paint job on it, the green, but it was too shiny. So to take the shine away, they would give it a second coat. But with a second of coat, they either would put sand or sawdust in the paint to make it gritty so that it wasn't so shiny out there.
Yeah, that makes sense because it seems like it would blend better with the terrain.
And you think about like back then, like technology nowadays, like a painting technology, we can make satin, semi-gloss. Like paint technology is stupid now. It's just stupid crazy.
Yeah.
Like just like the clothing wear. The clothing wear takes the heat off. There's no heat signature, and it's lightweight. It's supposed to be like the science behind military clothing and paint and everything is just ludicrous. But back then, you didn't have that crazy science behind it. So you're like, well, it's shiny. Like, and if it's shiny, if light hits it at night and they can see the shininess of it, then you know it's a helmet. So what do? they either mix sand or sawdust with a paint to make it gritty, so that it doesn't shine.
I think the kiwi fruit was the inspiration for this one.
Interesting, right? Like,
Yeah.
like if you've seen a movie, if you've seen a picture, you've seen it. That's called a doughboy helmet, because the English and the Americans wear, they call the English doughboys because they're so white, right? But it was a doughboy helmet. You've seen them everywhere, like on movies and in pictures.
Yeah.
When was the first time you ever? When was the last time you've held one in your hands? A real one from 100 years ago,
That was the first time, right there.
right there.
Right there was the first time.
Like that is, I don't. I have remakes of stuff,
I'm pretty sure.
but I'm pretty sure
too.
this helmet, this helmet right here, and this helmet, I'm pretty sure are not remakes, and that's history in your hands right there.
That is pretty cool.
That's
though.
real history.
That is really cool.
That's like crazy,
I know.
crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I don't know. I was pretty stoked. Like when I got that helmet and I opened the box, it was just like that moment where the light comes out of the box. It's like, oh, and I remember just just looking at it, and I got it at work. I had it shipped to work.
Really?
That way I'd get it. And then I opened the box, and the person that was working in my office brings in, hey, you got this box. I'm like, oh my God, I got it here. Oh my God. And so
It's here. It's here. You're all
that
jumping up and
individual
down.
came in. And then the another guy came in, and
Yeah.
he goes, hey, what's going on, Mark? I go, dude, look what I got in the mail. Oh my God, it's so amazing. And so I opened the box, and the manager, she's like, what is it? I'm like, oh my God, Mark, what is it? I go, look at it. She's like, what is that? And like, he knew what it was. He was like, is that what I think it is? I go, oh my God, yes, it is. Look at it. He goes, dude. And he was stupid like me. He's like, is that really like a World War I helmet? And me, I'm like, oh my God, yes, it is. And he's like he was kind of in awe of it too. But it was, yeah, it's history, right? It's
That is
history.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude.
Kind of cool, right?
Yeah. So when did you get this one in?
Somewhere in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best day ever, huh?
Dude, it was one of those things.
Best
And,
day ever.
after I die, people probably won't appreciate it. Maybe somebody will. I don't know.
I don't know. I think someone will.
You never know. Somebody might say like, "Hey, this is 100 years old," and somebody wore it, somewhere in Europe. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Well,
And,
we all get excited about different antiques. Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. It's
Yeah.
kind of cool, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so okay. Probably like the first half of our show. I don't know. Talking about some random stuff. Richard Simmons, Shannon
But
Doherty
you were
helmets.
going to drop something else.
We're gonna get there.
Okay.
So when we started this show, we said we started in June. June was big, June 6th, and then June 5th, Tiananmen Square. Richard Simmons died this past weekend. Shannon Doherty died this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
I want to say someone else did. I just can't remember. Maybe because it did. I don't
What?
know.
who
There's been
else
a lot
died?
of people. Dude, there's been a lot of people who's been dying.
Dude, there's been a...
Oh, yeah. You know who else passed away?
Who's that?
That one singer.
Who? Oh, who?
Oh, my goodness. It was, damn it. Why can't I remember?
What?
Tequila.
Wait, say it again.
Damn it. Why can't I remember? It was that one singer. It was the one, what the heck? Come on, baby. Come, my lady. You're my butterfly. Sugar, baby.
No!
What is that band?
He had the stars?
Oh, God dang it. Why can't I remember his name?
Oh, no. No,
yes.
no,
Yes.
no. Okay, hold on.
What the heck is that band?
I didn't bring my... Let me see.
This is,
James Sicking of Hill Street.
Okay, so-
Hill Street Blues. Shannon Doherty. Oh, Dr. Ruth died this weekend.
Oh, yes. Dr.
Dude,
Ruth. There was
96 years old.
So what do we have to, like, Google?
Oh,
Who died
my
in the
God.
last month? What
did.
celebrity?
Richard Simmons, legendary. Okay, here's something. Here, hold on. I mean, not to be morbid or anything like that, right? So I don't know who James Seeking was from Hill Street Blues. Dementia. Wow, he was older. Shannon Doherty, 53. This weekend.
Yes. Oh,
Dr. Ruth. Hold on, Dr. Ruth, 96.
yes. And did you see the other one? Actually, I remembered that one, too. Shelley Duvall.
Who's Shelley Duvall?
Isn't she like, she was the wife from The Shining.
That's right.
Yes.
She played Olive Oil. Shelley Duvall. There it is.
She looks like olive oil.
Dude, she was 75.
Crazy town.
Shannon Doherty, 53. Richard Simmons, 76. Oh, wow. The child star from Alf, Benji
Yes.
Gregory died. He was 46. Dude, he was my age. You know who that is? The son from Alf?
Yes.
Holy smokes. Let me see here. Tell me if any of these names ring a bell, but they all passed away. John Landau, Robert Towney, Renald White, Martin Mole, Bill Cobbs, Matthew Perry. It just says multiple people could be charged in Matthew Perry's death. I don't. Oh, Shitty Shell Shock.
Yes.
Crazy
Shitty-
Town frontman dies at 49.
Yes. That was what I was thinking of.
That was a good song.
I
That
know,
was,
and I totally
"Come, baby,
messed
come,
it
baby,
up.
You're my butterfly, sugar,
Baby. Right? I can't
Oh, come, baby.
can't remember. But yes, that guy. I was like, oh,
You know what? I almost got those stars tattooed because of him.
really?
He had the what they call the nautical stars.
Yes.
So I've heard a story that the nautical stars tattoo was an old thing for gay men to show that they were gay.
Really?
Yeah,
Shoot. Why can't
Like-
a nautical star just be a nautical?
nautical star. I don't know, but something about in the old days, because like like who's that guy? Who's Sulu from Star Trek?
I swear,
Like in the 70s.
is it this that's making our memory go to hell? It's just been a long day.
It's
for
been a
me.
long day. It's a Wednesday.
I
It's
stopped braining-
Hump day. It's a wump day.
I stopped braining at 4:30.
Oh my God.
I could tell.
Oh my God!
But
But
my brain stopped working.
but like there was a point where and even in America, being a gay man, a gay woman, or something was frowned upon, and you were treated poorly for it. Hands down.
Yeah?
It existed.
I mean, yes. I mean, it is in our. Yes, absolutely.
So people had ways to demonstrate that. I mean, unless you were Elton John and you just didn't care and you had money, but or Freddie Mercury.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's
Yeah,
so
we're
funny, man.
Wow, but you had to have ways of showing that you were like homosexual, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess this nautical star, that one that's like red and blue.
You mean showing your nipples as a man wasn't the big sign, the big
No,
giveaway? Wow.
Us men
okay.
we all have nipples, Jeanette.
I know, but
They
still, like,
exist. We have them.
I thought that was like,
I mean, I don't know what they're for on men, but they're there.
I don't know what they're for either, and that would be life's greatest mystery.
What if it came out that science one day said, "Yes, men." Ooh, I spit an almond on my.
What if it
microphone.
actually has a hidden feature and no one has tapped into it yet?
Okay.
Look at that feature
Here,
thing.
okay. Here's the hidden feature. What if science and this is a big what if, people.
What if?
Biggest what if, and this is only a what if. This is like a jokingly what if, so nobody takes offense to this. What if science came out tomorrow, and they said, "We've discovered it, people. What is the purpose of male nipples?" And they came out, and they came out. They said, if a father suckles their child will be super intelligent and very athletic and very everything across the board, hands down. But the child has to suckle for the father.
What if that? I mean, that's really weird.
But
I have something that could be a better, greater possibility. So, wrap your mind around this. All right. So, what if, as we're evolving and changing, and human race goes through its up and downs, and like, what if, at some point, women can no longer reproduce? We are like not able to bear the human population is at risk. What if all of a sudden men had the capabilities of reproducing, and that's why the nipple, this is where you get nipple power.
So, okay, are you suggesting that the
men
women
can evolve
the egg from the ovum from women would somehow begin not just traveling down the into the cervix,
maybe it comes from the nipples,
but it would
just kidding.
it would transverse itself into men.
What if you had it kind of like amphibians or like seahorses? Don't male seahorses
Eat the babies?
give birth?
Oh yeah, I think so.
What if
Oh,
you guys had a hidden power, but only when things were so
So-
dire?
okay. So Ben Shapiro said it best.
What did he say?
You know who Ben Shapiro is?
Absolutely not.
Do you really? He's
No,
like
who's
this
that?
Jewish guy. He's on he's not on Vice. He's on News Feed or News something like that.
I'm sheltered. I'm
super
a sheltered
super
woman.
intelligent guy. I like listening to him.
Okay.
He's super intelligent, very right wing.
Okay.
Okay, so and like I appreciate him and hearing him, but he made a comment once and it made me laugh, and he says, "You know why men are becoming trans women now?" And or it was set up that way why men are becoming trans women, and Ben Shapiro says men are so good at everything now, or so much better than women now on everything.
Oh my
That we
God.
make better women than women do also. How do you feel
Maybe-
about that, Jeanette? How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But I mean, I don't know. I recently, because I like to just read the titles of my newsfeed, and I don't always get to actually read the article. But-
Caitlyn Jenner was not just a better athlete than men and women, but he's actually Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner. Bruce Jenner is better at being a female than women. So not only did he take the decathlon, the triathlon, the decathlon, and all this other stuff, but now he took the genders.
I really don't even know anybody who says, "Man, that Caitlyn Jenner is hot." I've never heard anyone say that in the history of like ever. Who has ever said that?
His first year that he came out as a
I've
woman.
never met a man who
No,
said
no.
Caitlyn
The
Jenner
first-
is hot.
The first year he came out as a female, he was named like the most influential or important woman of the year.
I don't give a crap. I mean, any smart
So-
woman can be an influential person.
So,
Now,
so Bruce Jenner's first year as a woman, and he came out as a better woman than the rest of women that year.
no.
I mean,
It's about
I mean,
hotness. No
I
one's
mean,
gonna,
I'm just going to throw that out there.
Our
Is it
straight
true
guys-
that us men are so good at everything we do that we're even better at being women than women?
You are really good at bullcrapping, bullshitting. I think that you guys are so wanting. I can't even open this.
Does
Does that make you better?
It makes you better opening the ice bucket. I'm sorry. I just opened the ice bucket.
I know you did.
So okay, in terms of, I know you got two balls.
I know. No, or
You have to hit it. Sometimes they're sexy too. So I don't know. I mean, what is the title? What that protects women's sports? Title 10 or
Title 10. I don't know.
there's a
Title
specific.
10.
There's a specific.
Maybe you're right,
act.
and I'm laughing
There's
at you.
this. There's all these different. Laws and whatnot that protect women's sports, and women's sport was a protected activity.
But it didn't. I don't know. I just never heard. I'm sorry. I mean,
Hold
yes,
on,
you
I'm
can
gonna
go
find
through
it.
all of your, but I've just never heard a straight man say Caitlyn
So,
Jenner is a hot.
Title 9.
Title 9.
It's title. So, Title 9 was created to protect women's sports, and Title 9 is created to give women all the opportunity to compete in a sports arena. So that way, Jeanette, if you want to play badminton and be the world badminton champion, you should be able to play against other. You're making that face up. That's amazing. But you have the opportunity to play against women. Because if Mark comes up and plays, I'm going to play you for the world championship, Jeanette, at badminton, and I'm going to get the birdie and slam it in your face. The birdie, I'm going to hit the birdie harder. It's going to travel faster, and it's going to give me an unfair advantage because I have the strength and the bone structure. That's different.
Face and the bone structure.
But it's different. Like men have a different strength,
Well,
bone
we're
density or something like that.
clearly built different. I mean, there's no
Oh,
doubt
that's
about
delicious.
it.
Oh my God, that is
It
stupid
is.
delicious.
I
Malibu.
know.
Which Malibu is that?
This is the pina colada one.
Oh my Malibu.
Oh, I said it
cocktail
like pina
That
colada.
is stupid delicious.
I know.
Wow.
I've never
So-
had these before. These are great.
So but you as a woman have a chance to being the ultimate badminton champion of the
Wow.
world and compete against other women.
Are you saying I
because
can
it's
be all I
protected.
can be?
You can be all you can be.
Wow.
So, but it does make it murky in the sense that if a man wants to come out and say he's a female, then he's going to compete against you and he's going to steal the title against you. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, and Joe Rogan had that one about the MMA, about a male that transitioned to female, and suddenly he's fighting female MMA fighters. And it's been a big thing on Joe Rogan where he's outspoken about it. He says, this guy, he grew up his entire life as a male, trained as a male, testosterone, everything as a male, wasn't doing well as a male in terms of competing, transitions to a woman, and suddenly in MMA, he is destroying all the female competition.
It sounds like a man with a huge ego trying to be a woman, to be a man.
So
weird.
Okay, this
so weird.
And this recently happened in strength training, or like weightlifting or powerlifting, that a man transitioned to female. And again, this is a guy that lived his whole life as a man, and he said he's transitioning to female, so he starts powerlifting and starts outlifting all the women.
Yeah.
And look, there are strong women out there.
Yeah.
But there are stupid strong men out there.
Yes.
Like stupid strong. Who's that one guy that they called Thor? That really big guy. He was just a monster big guy, and he was so big, and he could lift stupid amount of weight. But he was a guy. And his strength level and his bone density and everything about him, there's no way there's like a female equal of him. It's just, I don't see it possible. So this male weightlifter transitioned to a woman to be a female, and he wins like the women weightlifting championship. He starts breaking all the women's world records. And so there's a male coach gets pissed at this because all the ladies he's training, they don't have a chance against this guy.
And it's, if I'm looking at this.
So you know what the coach did? Hold on real fast. Let me finish the story. The coach, he says, I'm going to put this guy in his place. So the coach came out and registered for the women's sport, the women weightlifting, and they said, well, you're a guy. He goes, no, I'm transitioning. And you have to let me sign up for this.
Well, yeah, because it's like, you let him do it. Why can't you?
You let me? Because I'm telling you, I transitioned. And he even said something like, he even gave it a weird name. He gave it like a stupid name, like, I'm not transitioning to a woman. I'm transitioning to something else. And he beat that guy's records. He beat all of them. And that guy that transitioned to a woman, he got really pissed off. He goes, you can't let him do that. Like,
well,
he
why
goes,
not?
That was the argument.
Exactly.
Well, we let not? You. Why can't we let him?
Yeah, you can't be the only one.
Yeah, right? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I can see, listen, Linda.
Listen, Linda.
I mean, women, I think what it is, I think that we just want, am I speaking for all women? Oh my God, am I the spokesperson?
You're the spokesperson.
We just want
right now, today, this day in history, you are the spokeswoman for all women in the whole universe, and go.
We just want to be appreciated, damn it. That is it. Let us be great at something and stop trying to be better.
Just let us be beautiful, damn it.
Just let us be and appreciate. Just give us some appreciation. It.
Then you're gonna find some crazy backwoods hick that's gonna come out. All right, woman, damn it, go make me dinner, damn it. It's like, okay. Okay, I love you.
I know.
So, okay.
That's terrible.
So I don't even.
We can talk about that.
Dude, I don't even know how we went down this tangent.
I don't even know either.
This was kind of crazy.
I'm probably going to get some weird comments.
This is what's good about a comment. Look, if you're a normal nobody like us.
Yes.
You're not Joe Rogan with 1,000 listeners, and if you're not like hardcore MMA, if you're just your everyday person like me and Jeanette that likes to have a drink, get together with friends, then you're gonna get it. You're gonna get this.
You're gonna get it.
You'll get this conversation.
You've had these conversations with your friends. I can guarantee that. And it's been crazy. It's been inappropriate. It's been funny.
My cool meter is not pegged. Even though in my brain, I think my cool meter is pegged out all the time. It really, in reality, it's here. My coolness meter is here, and my mind is pegged out.
Don't
In
take
reality,
it.
it's here. My mind is here.
Listen.
Jeanette, reality.
Listen, reality.
My mind.
My mind.
I mean, I just went down. I just went off the scale there. Did you see that?
You know,
my cool meter just went off the scale.
We
in my
struggle. We struggle to be adults. So if you're getting mad because you think we're being, if you think we're being serious or offensive,
you know,
we just struggle to be adults.
I thought that Jeanette and Mark made sense, and I thought they're really cool. But now I just think they're stupid. I'm moving on YouTube next.
No, but someone gave us jobs. We're not that dumb.
You know, I'd like to think
we are employed.
Here's what I like to think. If you're in the office right now and you're trying to do a little work and you're trying to listen to something that's semi-informative, semi-funny, something in the middle of the road that's not over the edge, not like crazy, not news reporting, not hardcore reporting, not left, not right, but kind of everything in the middle of the road, not ESPN or anything. Then you're gonna be like, oh, in the office, kind of with the volume down, be like, oh, Mark and Jeanette, ha ha ha, that's pretty. You guys are okay. We're like a cup of nice warm tea. We're not too hot. We're not cold. We're not too cool, but we're cool enough. We're we're
lukewarm.
We're lukewarm. Yeah. We're like for your everyday American. You want to kind of like keep it up with stuff just enough. Like it's me with sports.
I love the marketing strategy all around this podcast. Come join us.
Dude, I know. It's like me with football. It's like 49ers are still doing good, right? Oh yeah, I'm a 49er fan. Yes. This is football, right? Yeah, 49ers. Yes.
49ers.
I'm all about foosball.
Foosball. I love the foosball. Foosball.
Oh my god. So okay, we're gonna transition now to the
serious thing.
The serious stuff. There's a couple things we need to talk about that's fairly serious because I mean, there's a lot going on these next couple of weeks, but just right before we do that, I'm going to call time out right now.
Okay.
Get some more ice.
Yes, we need more
ice. If you're listening to us, you're going to hear me say time out. Then you're going to hear me say, oh no, game off, and then game on.
Yes.
It's like going to be 2 seconds past if you're listening to us. And if you're here with us in this little room right here, it's going to be like 5 minutes. But I'm going to get some more ice because we're running out of ice, and I like my drinks cold.
Yes, me too.
All right, so game off.
Game off.
Game off. It's like in the initial, product lineup, planning and development stages, nobody 4 years ago thought, man, I'm going to need like a fan to blow cold air into a little room because people in a little room get hot. They breathe. It's just it's just not a part of the planning stages. You don't think about that.
Honestly, I don't think you planned that your vents aren't going to circulate as well.
You need to anticipate poor building plans for your strategic planning.
That sucks. But you know what? You're actually absolutely correct on that. For real.
So
game on?
Game on.
Okay, game on.
It was funny. I was telling an employee today. I tell an employee, I'm pretty blessed. I have a really good AC and a really good heater. It just so happens that my heater works in the summer and my AC works in the winter. Nobody asked me what I wanted them to work. They just want to know. They just asked me if I wanted a really good one.
They're in reverse.
I mean, in hindsight, 3 years ago, I would have said something along the lines of the heater should work during winter and the AC should work during summer. But me putting my foot in my mouth, I only said, hey, it would be nice to have an AC working.
Oh, now I'm just making mixed cocktails.
I'm doing the same thing. I just didn't know what season it is. Okay. So hopefully the viewers, and look, for the 15-20 of you that are loyal viewers, man, you guys are the best. I love you guys.
Absolutely.
And yeah, you guys are the best. And if you haven't fallen asleep or fallen into a stupor or gotten into a car accident because you couldn't turn your radio off or something, thank you for staying with us. If the moment you heard Jeanette's voice and you thought, man, I'm a passenger on this plane. How do I make this plane crash? And you can't get it to crash because you're not flying it. Thank you for sticking it in sticking it in with us here.
I don't know if he or she said that. It sounds like a group thing to say. That's what they said. That's what they said.
Okay, so we went down like 20
We
different rabbit holes. We went down memory lane here. I'm going to say we're starting the second half of our show, but when we started, we talked about June 5th, Tiananmen Square happened in '89.
I like how you're wrapping it up.
November.
I like not wrapping it up, but I like how you're circling
Kind of
back
circling
to.
back,
I
yeah.
like it. All right.
November 9th in '89. You brought up that's when the Berlin Wall fell. I would have never called
1989.
that. I'm blown away that you knew that. June 6th, D-Day. Never forget D-Day. Like never forget D-Day. I think about that. If D-Day is not at the forefront of your mind, sometimes you need to go back and watch Saving Private Ryan.
Oh yeah, that's really good. In
Bring
fact,
it back.
I think I want to bring it back and watch it this weekend. Dang, that's a really
You
good
know,
idea.
You know, a really kind of to touch base on that, a really good movie. It's called The Longest Day. It has like the most superstars for its era.
Oh, what is?
And it's
who
called.
is
It
that?
has like John Wayne. It's about D-Day.
Okay.
It's called The Longest Day.
The
It came
Longest
out. It came out something like 10 years after World War
I
II.
need one of these
It has like
movies to
Greg. I don't know if Gregory Peck. It has like Sean Connery when he was a young man. It has John Wayne. It has like all these stars in this movie where they all made this movie about D-Day. But you know the deal about it was though, the movies in the 50s didn't have the technological advantage that we have now. So it's not that the Longest Day, the movie, is not great because it's a great movie. But when you compare it to Saving Private Ryan, you can't say that the Longest Day is not impactful. Saving Private Ryan came out like what, 10 years ago, roughly.
10 years ago?
Was it 10 years ago?
No, I'd say maybe 20.
Has it been 20 years now?
I would say 20.
Dude, I'm gonna look that up because it's been so. I don't know when. I don't know when it came out, but
I don't know, but it seems 20.
Wow.
How?
Whoa.
When did it come out?
1998. I didn't realize that's when Private Ryan came out.
More than 20? That's even more mind blowing. Dang.
So it's like 1998. Yeah. So that's like 26 years ago.
Oh, crap.
But so it came out in the 90s. So when Saving Private Ryan came out, movie industry technology has advanced so far so that the attack on like in the invasion of Normandy, it's so realistic in the theater now. Whereas The Longest Day came out in the 50s. A lot of really good actors were in the movie, really important movie that covered all the important events of D-Day, but the technology to make it so realistic didn't exist. I'm sure if they redid The Longest Day today, it would probably be like mind-shattering.
I bet you they should do that. Are we giving them ideas?
It would be
Giving
so
Hollywood
lifelike
ideas?
right now. It would be
Yeah.
so lifelike that I'm sure like veterans would have. It would be the whole thing like Saving Private Ryan. They'd all have PTSD again.
Wow.
Yeah.
We definitely
Yeah.
don't want to do that.
Can you hand me a cigar
Where?
in the box?
Oh.
This is one of my favorite cigars. I'm not gonna light it up. I just every now and then I get the urge to like.
Like, feel it, hold it.
I don't know. Somebody says it's like the whole thing of having a phallus. I don't know. I just love these cigars.
Oh.
These are called Olivas. These are called Olivas.
Hold on, let me do this.
And obviously I bought a box of them, right?
Yeah.
But I really love these cigars. They're really good cigars.
Do you need a?
No, I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna.
So, okay, so two things is one. There's one thing in history going on, but
Nice.
so you have known me.
We've known each other since 2018, dude.
Has it been 2018?
Yes.
So
That was the buyout.
when you met me, did you know me at a point in my life where I was not in some sort of body pain?
No. I mean, it didn't seem so, but you always made a point of having a leaning stick, maybe, aka
I always had a walking stick, a
golf
cane, a golf club.
golf club.
I've
You always
that.
had something to lean on.
It's funny
now,
that you say that. What year was that?
2018.
Wow.
That was when.
And when did COVID start?
2020, that's when stuff got real. That's when
So
shit got real.
So, like,
Yeah.
people that don't know me, I mean, people that are sharing this with me, somebody that's coming on with me for the first time, I had a lot of back pain for a long time. Back then, it wasn't as intense. I was always super active. I was, parachuting. I was playing rugby like crazy.
Dude,
I was
you
doing
were
jujitsu.
doing all kinds of
I was doing a
stuff.
lot of CrossFit. I was always super active, even back then. So the pain back then in my body seemed natural in the sense of like I'm just pushing hard.
Yeah, and that's how you always were. Like,
And,
you would say, like,
yeah.
man, I just did this workout for CrossFit, and I did this, and
My body's sore, but I'll be
Yeah.
fine later on
Just
today.
gotta
'cause
push through it.
I'll push through it, and by the end of the day, I'll be fine. I'll work through the soreness.
yeah,
That was kind of my whole mindset. Well, during COVID, let's talk about this. Anybody that knows me, let's talk about this journey. Mm-hmm. About we're in 2024, 2023. So I went through the job transition in about 2022.
I would say so. Yeah,
Yeah. So it was around that transition during COVID that I started getting a lot of back pain, like a lot of
Yeah.
severe back pain. And I even had one person said it was COVID. It was the vaccines,
Yeah.
but something happened during that time. Maybe it was because of COVID and we weren't working out as hard in the gym, and so maybe you couldn't blame it on the exercising no more.
and weird thing about COVID, like,
Yeah,
we weren't getting sick. Either you got COVID
yeah,
or you didn't.
Yeah.
And you sure as heck weren't getting sick anywhere else, because
yeah.
I avoided getting the flu or getting a cold
Oh, absolutely.
because we were all masked up and prepared.
But
I was probably the healthiest then.
so it was 20. What did we say? 2022.
2022.
So just to take you and anybody that's listening on this journey with me, so in 2022, I started getting severe back pain, more than usual.
Mm-hmm.
I had already was going through every day was like a lot of pain, and you guys would make the comments of like, dude, you look bad, and I had my walking cane
I
with
know.
golf club, but it wasn't a big deal. But something happened, and I couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
And I would get out of bed because I had to go to work. So I would, when the pain came at its worst, I would roll to the side of my bed just to drop my legs out of bed just so I could stand up. That's like how bad it was. I couldn't sit up.
Yeah.
Like at all. Sometimes I would fall to my knees I would drop my legs off my bed, drop to my knees just to get up that way.
Yeah.
That's how bad the pain was. So I don't know why I didn't deal with this then. Maybe because that's like when the COVID stuff was happening.
And maybe you just didn't recognize it because no one ever talks
Yeah.
about like what it could be.
I remember trying to stretch, thinking like because everybody told me like, "Oh, Mark, you're just stiff. You're
And
just
it
tight."
always made sense because you were
Yeah.
always like working out and pushing
Yeah.
yourself, and you just wouldn't stop.
You wouldn't-
and you still
yeah.
don't stop.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
Still working out, right? So that happened like in 2022. So last year in 2023, all through 2023 stuff was going on, but I kept on thinking like, I'm gonna get this check out. I'm just tired of this.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of every day it hurts.
And I've noticed that there was a whole,
Like-
probably a year where you're going through different
It's
therapies,
a daily thing.
masseuses,
Yeah, I was.
treatments. I heard this person's going to work. So you would travel, go to Albuquerque.
Yeah,
you would
I
do
did.
different, like,
I was going to
things
Albuquerque
try
every
to
week to
figure
try
out if
different-
you can
yeah.
do a more of a holistic approach.
Well, everybody said it was related to my tightness. My hips are too tight. My hips, this is too tight. So yeah, I would go to different places. There's like a famous guy that works on MMA athletes and NFL athletes.
Yeah.
And he pops their backs and all that. And he's like a hammer and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, this is what I need. He's going to get in there. I went up there for like 2 months, like every week.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. I mean, it worked some, but it didn't give me what I needed. And so, yeah. So like last year, I started thinking I'm gonna start to figure this out. I need to figure this out.
Yeah.
And I got to the point of like where all this other stuff's not working. It's not working. Like it's like this is. I think it just started sinking in of like maybe you really screwed yourself up.
Maybe this is more than what you think.
Yeah. And I'll just give you a quick example to the point of when I got into healthcare, one of my first patients was the mother of a friend of mine. And she had chronic pain, like tons of chronic pain, tons in her body. And they thought it was mental stuff, so they gave her a lot of medication. And then finally a doctor ran a whole lot of tests on her and determined, figured a baseline on her. And they determined that she had type 4 cancer.
Oh, no.
And that cancer had already spread through her body so much that she didn't have much time to live. But the pain wasn't in her head no more. The pain was the cancer spreading. And so when I first got into healthcare, I knew the daughter, but I met the mom, helped them out through what they were going through, and helped get the mom on certain services. And the mother, maybe like a month, 2 months after I met the mom and kind of started her on her journey, she was admitted to hospice, and she passed away.
Oh,
That was like one of probably my second experience with cancer, with going into healthcare. There was one more thing that happened before that. First day I had to deal with walking into the office and be like, oh my God, so-and-so just walked into so-and-so's house and so-and-so's dead. I'm like, oh.
and that does happen.
And that does happen. But that was like my first day in healthcare ever.
My God.
And I'm just like thinking of like,
What do we do?
is this normal? Oh my God.
Is
Like,
this
what did I
normal?
just sign up for? Like people dying. So, but with my friend, her mom was in so much pain all the time. And when they finally figured out it was cancer.
Oh,
And
man.
she died fast. So this last year, I've been thinking about this a lot. It's like, I'm just tired. I'm just tired. Every day I'm in pain. And I even come to the conclusion of like, bite the bullet and figure out what's going on, dude. If you've got cancer and this is just the effects of it, then just deal with it.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to come to some real realizations here.
And that's that, and I don't know if it's because we are in healthcare and because if anyone doesn't know out there, yes, we're in healthcare.
I know, right?
By the way, we're
By
in
the
healthcare.
way.
That is why we are the way we are. No, no, it's challenging, but I think probably we're the worst ones.
Yeah.
Even when I've dealt with
You don't deal with
my
it.
tragic loss with losing my mom.
Yeah.
I was in extreme denial. And this is like something I see all the time, and I can tell someone what they should do.
I'll never
and
forget that, yeah.
I will tell them left and right, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to prepare. But when it actually happens to you, I didn't even know which way to turn. I was like,
I remember talking to our co-pilot Fabio Fabuloso
oh man,
and telling him like, dude, and he's like, hey, what's up, Mark? I was like, I need you to listen for a second. And his first thought was like, where's Jeanette? Like that day, it was like a weird thing. So like me dealing with like all this constant pain every day, like it hurts to stand up. So like, so finally I had like to bite that bullet and think of like, what if I do have cancer? Like, because my lab tests for the past 6-7 years have been stupid.
yeah,
Like it's stupid, and the doctor told me, we need to figure out why your lab tests are so stupid.
yeah.
But so like in my mind, I'm like, oh, let me go talk to my brother. And so I talked to my brother, and he's like, let's go send you to get some X-rays at the very least to start this off. And I didn't know what to expect, but I went to this clinic that charges real cheap down in the middle of nowhere, and I took him the results, and like, it's weird the relief to hear it, at least to know what it was. But he looks at it, or he text messaged me. He goes, I said, did you get the X-rays? Did you look at them, or did you get the results and all that? He goes, yeah. And he had ordered X-rays on my back and on my hips, because I told him, I go, dude, I'm just tired of the pain. Like, my back's just killing me all the time. I'm just sick of it. I'm in pain all the time. So he says, come pick up a script, go get X-rays and all that stuff, and that's what I even did. And so he got them back, and he says, yeah, they're pretty bad. And he says, I don't remember if I went in there to talk to him or if it was by text, but it was like, your hips are pretty bad. And he goes, you have osteoarthritis, but I think you need to get your hip replaced. And it was weird because at that moment I remember being like breathing like a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
It was
it?
weird.
That's it.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. I was like, this is just arthritis.
Yeah.
And like it's like because everything hurts, and he was like, "Yeah, it's pretty bad. You need a new hip." And so that started last November, and he was gonna set me up with this and come in and see the doctor, get the referral, go here. But it was November, and so if you have insurance, your deductible starts over every year. Mm-hmm. And you and me, we're not people made out of money. Maybe you are. I don't know. But I told him that I said, I can't start this till January because I'm not going to start paying into my insurance now and then have to worry about starting all over again with my deductible in January.
Kidding. Yeah.
So I said I gotta wait till January. So we made an appointment out for January. So September, October. It was October because it was like September, October. So I had to wait like 3 more months to start the process.
Yeah.
And but first of all, like I say, the amount of relief I felt when I found out it was just arthritis in my hip, but it causes so much pain in your back because everything's out of whack.
And how weird now that you have like that firsthand perspective. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, people talk about arthritis and I never really knew that it could be that bad.
So and just like I say, couldn't get out of bed. The pain was that bad. And now that, and it's weird because I don't take a lot of pain medicines. Like there's days I can't walk. Like there's days I feel like I'm throwing my leg.
Oh man.
I've told this to a lot of people. What pisses me off the most is in the morning when I'm getting ready for work, I can't put my socks on.
Oh man.
Like I can't bend my leg to put the socks on. And it's funny because now that I've seen the specialist, I got this, I got that. I'm actually getting ready in like in a week and a half now to get a new hip, like to have a new hip put in. And but it's funny, like you're going to them, you're having your meetings on them. They're all like, "Okay, sir, I want you to remember, this is not you. Your hip just cannot do it. You have bone spurs. It's bone on bone." They're like all telling me, like, "But don't feel bad. It's not you." I'm like, I know it's not me.
It's my bone.
It's like, yeah. I was like,
it's
like when I go to the gym and I do squats and I put like 400 or 500 pounds on the bar and I go down. I go down because the weight pushes me down. So I know it's not me. Like, don't give me this all, poor you, it's not you. I don't need that. I just need you to schedule me with a date and do the damn surgery now.
They're all trying to do the counseling then and there.
and
Can you imagine the ones who are like,
so
thank you? I mean, can you imagine the ones who actually do think it's them?
You know me well. You know me well, right?
I do.
You do. So the nurse, that's taking everything. She schedules me, and she's having she's having very serious conversations with me. Mm-hmm. And you know me in seriousness.
It's not gonna go hand in hand.
Maybe like 10%. I don't know. 20%.
I'll
I'll give it 25%.
I don't know. Even when you and I have a serious conversation, it's not that serious.
And there's always wildly inappropriate comments that get thrown in there. Well, sir, you're going to be on a lot of pain meds, and you're going to need assistance. It's going to affect you. You're not going to be all there. I was like, and my first question was like, so when you say pain meds, is that like doing cocaine on a Saturday night in Vegas, like effect? And the nurse, she just kind of sort of like, it's like a lot of pain meds, and well, you're gonna need help. I was like, so are you telling me it's like going on like a 24-hour alcohol binge, or is it like going on a drug-induced X binge?
It sounds like a Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
And so that's what I was telling her.
Growing.
And so she was just like, well, and it was funny listening to her because she's like, you're gonna need somebody to help you out. And I was like,
Fear and Loathing.
and so she's like, well, you need somebody to help you out. And I'm like, oh, I met this Mexican chick. I picked her up. She'll help me out. She's good. And the nurse is like, so, what do you mean a Mexican person's going to come help you? I was like, yeah, I already got taken care of her. She's going to totally stay here, and I'm going to give her food, and she's going to be fine, and she's going to take care of me when I got this. So, and she was like, and
she's going to call the cops thinking you're like trafficking
I don't think the
someone.
nurse was ready for this. Like
Yeah.
it was just me being a jackass. You know,
I know.
I can be stupid, and she was like, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. So you're telling me a Mexican person's gonna help you out? Okay. So you have somebody to help you then? Yes. Okay. You have somebody to help you. Fine. So yes. So that's like what she said. That's how she was like. She was
Oh
like,
my
okay, so
God.
somebody didn't help you. Fine. That's fine. And so we get past that, and she's like, you need this, you need that, and at that point, I couldn't stop. I had to stop myself because I was like, all right, dude, don't be like too much of an idiot. And so, but yeah, like. It's just when they have these conversations, sir, you're gonna be okay. I've been dealing with this for 5 freaking years, if not longer.
I know I'm gonna be okay.
I don't need you to give me a reach around on this. Just schedule me for the damn surgery. I'm already getting raped.
Did you get a lollipop?
No, no. I went and I talked to the doctor, his assistant, his PA, on 1 week, and the next week I went and talked to him for 20 minutes apiece, and each visit costed $300 that they billed to the insurance company, and the insurance company made me pay for half of it
That sucks.
for a 20-minute visit.
Damn, dude.
It's like, dude, I don't need to talk to you. Just schedule me for the surgery. That's all I need you to do.
You're
I don't
right.
need. Do you have questions for us about your surgery?
Absolutely
I'm not a
not.
doctor. I don't have any questions. I'm not a doctor. Do I need to bring my own pocket knife and cut myself open? That's my question. Like,
You're like, you have to record yourself saying, I do not want to talk to you, so do not charge me for this.
don't charge me for this.
Not even the 5
I don't want to pay for it.
Don't respond.
Don't. No.
I'm
No.
walking away.
And we skipped a step. So, you know, as medicine goes here, they always try the least invasive things. So the PA says, well, let's get he says, get a cortisone injection and do it for me. And the PA is a good guy. He's a
Yeah.
great guy. His name is Frank, and I mean, and I wasn't no overly a dick to him. In my mind, I was like, okay, princess, I'll do it for you.
All right, princess. All
But
right,
no,
sunshine.
I know that, you know, they want to do the most least invasive things, so they do a cortisone shot, and you have to do it under a big X-ray machine because they put this needle right into your hip, between the leg and the hip, you know, into the socket, and the pain was relieved for like a week and a half. And it's weird. So if you have like joint issue, like hip issue, like I was having, so suddenly the pain's gone. You don't feel any pain.
How weird.
But my hip doesn't move.
So it was.
So I was like, oh, it doesn't hurt no more. So I tried to move my leg, bring my leg all the way up like I could. Like this leg, I could bring it all the way to my chest.
Yeah.
So I get this leg thinking, oh, hell yeah, maybe I got moving back. Try to pull it up. I couldn't bring it all the way up. So the movement's not there.
Mm-hmm.
No movement. But the pain's not there. I just can't move it past a certain point because I guess bone on bone, bone spurs, whatever. But you can't move it. Yeah.
That didn't
So-
fix the issue at all.
So the pain came back like within a week and a half, and then like I say, I quickly realized, like I was like, oh, the pain's not there, but I have no movement anyways. So what good does a cortisone shot do? It might be-
You still can't
yeah.
do the things that you were wanting to do. Anyway.
I still couldn't do what I wanted to do. So that's when I went in and we had another conversation, and he was like, well, we could do like therapy if you want therapy, or we can do like we could try the cortisone again. And my first question was like why?
Just get to
Why?
the root of the cause. Just
Yeah.
do it.
If the only thing that's gonna fix me is gonna be surgery, why are we even talking about any other options? We tried the cortisone shot. It still hurt. As a matter of fact, I went out and tried to play pickleball, which is like a nice gentlemanly version of tennis with a little wood paddle.
Yeah.
Kind of like a cross between tennis and ping pong.
Yeah.
Yeah. It hurt. I couldn't move. It still hurt. It sucks. You can't move. And yeah, so I was just disappointed. Like I thought that was gonna fix me and give me time. It didn't
No.
work. So yeah. So when I saw him, and he was like, and he was cool about it. He goes, well, I just want to make sure I hear you say that you want surgery. I was like, yeah. Why the fuck are we even like pussyfooting around this?
Oh my
Like
God,
why?
he was whining and dining you?
I guess it's like
The hell?
if like if you as a doctor in your heart of hearts you know that none of this is going to work, why are we wasting time?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You know.
But I mean, I suppose they just.
I mean, I think in our medical system in the United States, it's like, again, try the least invasive, the least things that will hurt. That doesn't work, go to the next thing. That doesn't work, go to the next thing. And if the root of everything is like, we have to cut your bones and replace parts and do surgery.
It is going to be some major surgery. I mean,
Yeah.
this isn't just a cut, dude. This is
Dude,
like,
you go to sleep and you wake up, you have a new hip.
Yeah.
It's not a major surgery.
it is.
I don't know. In my mind, I don't see it. It's just like, again, they asked me, she says,
I guess maybe because you've been in pain for so long that you probably see.
or maybe because
you
it's like
outweigh-
surgery number 7, I don't know.
Maybe because you outweigh the pain that you're going through right now to like
Yeah.
the possible pain you're gonna. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. The pain
Yeah.
that you think that the recovering pain, because every single day is
Yeah.
going to be less and less.
Yeah.
At least the pain will decrease.
It should. It theoretically should.
It should
Yeah,
decrease.
right.
Every single day it should
Yeah.
decrease. That makes a lot of sense.
See, you do make sense when you're drinking.
Wow, I
Yeah.
know.
So,
Who would have thought?
because the surgery's coming, I can't
Yeah.
have nicotine, so I can't
Oh,
smoke.
is that what?
I had to give up. Like, I'm not a big smoker as it is. I like a cigar, but I like nicotine gum. I like to smoke with nicotine gum, but
Dang.
so that's why I'm like kind of like just here was a cigar because
Yeah.
I like the taste of it still, and so but I can't have nicotine because of the surgery.
Dang.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty close though.
So
too.
that's kind of crazy though. So this has been my my journey. And so okay, so even this week, so the surgery is like in a week and a half. So on Monday I go to work. It's weird, your hip goes out and it throws your back out, and on Monday for some reason my back hurt so bad I couldn't pick up my arm.
Oh man.
So not only was I walking like Igor, having to throw my leg, but for some reason I couldn't pick my arm up. And so I have an employee that's like a chiropractor / massage therapist from Mexico.
Yeah.
And I asked a colleague of mine, said like, hey, so-and-so come by for payroll to come get it. And she says, no, he hasn't come by. I was like, and she's like, why? Do you need to talk to him? And I try to stand up, like I stand up like an old man. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, because I need help. And she looks at him and she's like, oh my God, sit down. And she goes out there and like 10 minutes later, she's dragging him in by his hand. She goes, he just came in for his paycheck. And he's like, Marcos, what's wrong? What's going on? And he looks at me and he's like, oh my God. And so he stands me up and he does this weird bear hug thing on me. And he pops my entire back, just like with one thing. He does this thing, like breathe, and go bam. He lifts me up, and my whole back pops, and it feels amazing. And he does a couple of things on me, and he's been working. He did some work on me yesterday. He did some more work on me again. He says he's going to come back and work with me again tomorrow. And he's so funny. God bless him. And really interesting. He lived in Mexico, down in Chihuahua. He went to go study with the Indians, and correct me how I say that, but the Tarahumara
know.
Indians from Chihuahua. He went to go live with them in the Sierra. And the Sierra means the plains or the mountains? La Sierra. Does that mean like the plains or the hills?
No, I think it means probably the plains, not the hills. The
So-
mountains, because it would be montañas, would be like the mountains.
Okay, I think you're right. I'm just Googling this real fast. So the Sierra means the mountain range. No, the Sierra means the mountain range.
Really?
So in the mountains. So he went to go live with the Indians for a couple of months and do work up there. They trained him on how to do these therapies. And so, yeah.
That's
and-
really cool.
And so he's working on me. And you know what was funny? He says, don't get the surgeries because I'll fix you. And it's weird because, like, these people that have the gift, they have like a gift with their hands. And they can take pain away from you. And it's weird, like, when they're rubbing their hands on you and they're feeling you. Like, when I'm doing that to my arm right here, I don't feel anything. But it's like with his fingers, he hits every single bump that hurts.
Oh, weird.
And like when because there's like 3 people that go for this, and like he'll rub his hand on my forearm like this, and he'll be right on that one bump, and it's weird because they say like your nerves get all knotted up, and he does that and he goes away. But there's another lady up the highway here that lives down in a trailer down like 3 different roads. She's like this Catholic lady. She's middle aged, sweetheart of a woman from Mexico. Really, she does the same thing.
Not to say that I don't think that, I honestly think that there is something to that. But at some point, it's still not going to take away your range of motion.
Right.
It's not going to bring it back.
And it's weird because that's where I was going with this. Because like he was telling me, don't get the surgery. I'll fix you. Everybody's trying to fix me, and it's funny because like I go see these people that have these gifts.
Yeah.
And they do take away the pain, but it doesn't last long because. This is what I was trying to tell him. I was like, I've seen the X-rays. My bone is 100% on bone. It's like there's nothing there in my hip no more.
You can't make it grow.
It can't. Yeah, you can't grow
you
back.
Can't grow. Yeah,
so
you can't grow the cartilage.
So you're fixing the symptoms now.
But you're not fixing the problem.
You can't fix the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I've gone. There's about 3 people I go to now, and it's weird. Like when you're stressed, when you hurt something. When something's wrong and you go see them, it's weird. They take away the pain. They work on you, and it hurts. Like when they work on you, like when they're doing their therapy, whether it's the massage, deep tissue, whatever it is, it hurts. But when you leave, you feel good. You sleep well. The next day, you're sore. But I was just thinking about that today. I was like, I can't cancel my surgery. I'm 100% bone on bone. What you're doing is you're helping me with all these other issues, but you're not treating you can't like you say you can't regrow that cartilage.
No. Now, if it was possible, then yeah, but no, not that I know of.
Yeah, but he's been a godsend. He's really interesting how he talks about like the guy that taught him. He'll tell me how the guy that taught him how he figured out how to do this. And it's just like I
mean, they say the same thing about acupuncture. Acupuncture, you hit certain nerves, and it takes away.
There's a guy I go to in El Paso, Texas, from acupuncture. A guy that's traveled through Indochina, like Vietnam, Indonesia, and all those countries, learning acupuncture and Eastern medicine. And he's the guy I go see, and burns different kind of yerbas and all that. Mm-hmm. While he's doing, he puts hundreds of needles in me, and it's weird because like. He put 100 needles in you. You're like you're too afraid to move, and then you just fall asleep.
Yep, that's what it's. There's well, once before we had an acupuncturist go to our job as a gift from our boss.
Yeah.
I guess she sensed we were all stressed. So she had this guy come in and do acupuncture. I didn't do it. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't do it, but everyone who did do it, I was chicken. I'm not gonna lie. I was chicken.
Well, I mean, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. Right?
It wasn't my thing, and I wasn't a full believer either. I wasn't like 100% sold, but I was sold. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't. I was definitely a different person then too. But after everyone had done it, and it was the same thing. Like, oh, so relaxed. And it was just so, like everyone could describe how amazing it was after. Yeah. And like,
you know when I was sold on it?
Like, wow, that's amazing. Now I wouldn't be afraid to do it.
I had 100% knee pain, hardcore knee pain. Like, I dreaded dropping things because my knee pain hurt so bad, and it felt weird. It was like knee pain. Isn't that tequila amazing? That pink lemonade tequila. So good, and it mixes well with other things.
I wouldn't think it would be like.
It's amazing.
It is.
It's so good. You would think it's like ugh, like it would be, but no, it's really good.
I would totally buy this. This is really amazing.
I wasn't going to buy it. I have another one here by Milagro Tequila I really wanted to drink. Yeah. But I saw that and I thought, the picture of it and everything just looked so good. I was like, I've got to buy this. So my knee pain was so bad. Like, it's weird. You feel your knees are just so tight and they're pulling and it hurts. So I had gone on a whim. I just want to try new things. I was trying acupuncturist and all that. And I was going to like I guess you could say like American acupuncturist.
Yeah.
Wasn't impressed. I went to a number of them.
What was so American about it? Leonard Skinner in the background. I don't know.
I don't know. It just strikes
That's so
me as
American. That's so
you're
funny.
a Caucasian guy from Ohio,
Okay.
hanging like
mind-
Himalayan prayer flags.
My mind was just
with,
running crazy.
with that one kitty there for good luck, fortune, and he's unkept, wearing like very loose fitting clothes. Puts a couple of needles in, says, "I'm gonna, you'll feel great after this," and never got any relief from it.
Oh.
And I was just getting so annoyed with it. And I was like, I really wanted acupuncture to work.
Oh.
And so I looked up this one doctor. Her name was Dr. Wilkes. I think she's deceased now. I actually went to go see if she was still at her residence, but not long ago. But looked it up in the phone book or in Google. Maybe it was in Google at that time. I think Google's already. And I didn't go there the initial times because it was like in a residential area. I was like, and it was just like kind of wasn't like a website. Wasn't really many reviews. It just said Dr. So and So Oriental Medicine. We're in the middle of a residential area, like in an old neighborhood. And I was like,
it's like you don't trust it.
Yeah.
You're like, this is weird.
so on a whim, I go. And so I parked there in front of the house, and it wasn't really like, it was a house, but it wasn't really like a well-kept house, kind of one of those things. And walked through the gate, and as soon as I walked into the gate, the backyard had a Dr. Miyagi kind of feel about it.
Oh, how cool.
Wasn't so like prim and pretty. And you could tell it was kind of overgrown already, and maybe they just didn't keep up with it anymore. But it did have that very Dr. Miyagi kind of, or that Mr. Miyagi kind of feel about it. And I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. So I get in, and when I go, I sit in, and I sit with her, and the old lady that takes me in, well, she turned out to be the acupuncturist, Dr. Wilkes, Her husband was a Caucasian, big Caucasian guy, like 6-foot guy from Nebraska kind of guy. She was like a 5-foot Asian, from woman from China. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wearing that kind of like Chinese shirt that they would wear, and
Oh, nice.
the way she kind of walked, she just had that real that little shuffle that was like, you're from there,
Yeah.
And she asked me a couple of questions and all that, and I was telling her about my pain. She goes, okay. She was like, okay, you come on in. And it's weird because she had me fill out medical paperwork, my insurance paperwork and all that. I don't think she called to check my insurance or anything. She just charged me cash, but I had to fill out the medical paperwork. I don't know why, but
Maybe it's like,
Yeah.
for
I didn't know. I was like,
legitimate reasons, tax
I was like,
reasons,
why were you asking about my
legitimate
insurance?
business.
You're not going to charge my insurance. It was kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
So I go to the back room, and she tries to roll up my sleeve of my shirt, and she tries to roll up my pants because she's getting ready to put needles in me. And she's like, can you I was like, and I finally stopped. I said, do you need me to get undressed? And she goes, yes. She goes, yeah, please. You take off your clothes. And I was like, I'll take it. If you need me to take off my clothes, I will. That's fine. I don't mind. And she goes, yes, please. And so I take off my clothes. I'm there in my skivvies, my underwear, and I lay down in the little bed. And she brings out a long roll of needles.
Oh.
But it's like wound up like receipt paper.
Yeah.
Like a big wad of it, like a receipt paper. Just
Weird.
And I kind of caught a side of that, and she says, just relax. And I'm like, okay. We didn't talk a whole lot, but it's kind of weird, just like, I don't know what I can compare it to. It's just like if you're, like you stay busy doing busy work, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
That's how she just kind of leans over. She's on her stool, and just like without second thought, she's just like, boom, boom, boom. She starts putting needles in, boom, 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 just like all over, and just starting from my feet, working her way up from my feet to my ankles, my calves, my knees, and she's just putting needles in without even thinking about it, not trying to get a skin and trying to do it. No, she just gets up, just
She's just doing it.
putting them in real fast, and she goes all the way up my body. And I'm watching her. I'm laying there looking with my eyes down, and I mean, I kid you not. When I say she put hundreds of needles in, she put hundreds of needles in, and I'm laying there still because then she's putting needles in my ears, my eyebrows, right here. Like, it's weird because it looks like you have whiskers coming out. You can see them, and I was too terrified to move. I was like terrified. I was like, the hell, dude.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You don't want them embedded forever.
Right, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like,
Shoot.
I'm gonna roll over. I'm gonna like fall on all the needles. I'm gonna be like, oh, they're all gonna go and be like, no. And so then she gets this heating lamp, right? She gets this heating lamp, and she kind of like pulls it right over me, turns it on, and she's like, I'll be back in like 30 minutes. And she puts her timer on, and I'm laying there, 30 minutes, and the timer just goes. And I fell asleep. I was out.
It put you to bed? You just
I was out.
Oh wow.
And so and then
30 minutes is too short now at this point.
yeah,
Let me sleep.
I just don't remember. I don't remember the alarm going off or anything, but I remember feeling her hand on me as she was pulling needles out. And again, she was just going really fast. She was like just like pulling them all out real fast. Just like real fast.
How crazy.
Yeah, it was just like crazy, right?
Yeah.
And except one. There was one needle in my knee, you know? And she gets this needle and she like jiggled it. And then like as she jiggled it, I can feel a muscle on my back, all the way up my back, start twitching.
Oh.
It was weird. It was like she's jiggling a needle in my knee, but in my back, I can feel the muscle just like jiggling with every movement she did with a needle. And then she pulled it out.
How weird.
Right. It's like weird because you wouldn't connect like here in the outer lower knee to like way up in your back. Right. I mean, like, is that me or like would you not connect it?
No, you wouldn't connect it. It's kind of like okay, like if you have something going on in your ear, you feel it in your throat.
Yeah.
Like it's so weird.
Or it's like if you
ears, nose, and
it's like if you
doctor.
stubbed your toe and you're like here on your eye. So
weird.
So
But no, I mean
Yeah.
you can sometimes you can feel something in your throat, but it's not your throat. It's a
yeah, like sinus
It's, like,
that connects
weird.
to
Yeah,
your
it's
ear
all-
or something like
it's
that.
all-
It's like
yeah.
weird. So yeah, so it goes like that. She takes them off. I get dressed. She asks me a couple questions. We talk about diet a little bit, like the kind of foods I need to eat, warm foods and all that. And then she says, "Okay, call me if you have any more issues." And that was it. And I walk out. Didn't think twice about it. I was like, what was that about? Just like kind of like very surreal. I walk out of her house, and I noticed her husband was a really old man there. She was kind of taking care of him, like if he was dementia or something like that. You can already tell.
yeah.
And you can, because she was super old, and this had to be like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. So
Super old, like in 90s,
yeah,
100s.
yeah.
Like just
Like something like if she would have told me that she was 99, 100 years old,
you would have believed it.
I would have 100% believed
Oh,
it.
wow.
She just had something about her persona, like her hair was as white and soft looking as the clouds.
Oh wow.
Do you know what I mean?
She sounds fantastic.
And it looks like a little old Chinese lady wearing that Chinese, but shirt that you can see. And like I say, when I tell you she walked with like that Asian shuffle. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Can you see that picture?
Well, it sounds to
all
me.
that,
I can picture
all that,
it, yeah.
all that missing would be that one
Yeah.
straw hat that she wears.
Yeah, I
and-
can picture it.
Yeah, and that's what she looked like, and yeah, and it was that fast. Like I said, we asked a couple questions, and I bought a blood test from her because she says you could test your blood and figure out what kind of dye you want, and I left, and I didn't think anything about it, and I left with that surreal feeling of like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And so I went to the office, and it wasn't till about 2 days later. Didn't think twice after. I was like, phew,
That was weird.
that was
All
weird.
right, cool.
Okay,
All right.
walked down a back alley and walked in on a drug deal and things got crazy and but didn't think anything about it. Like just random.
I mean, never mind the slit on my like where my kidney should be.
Yeah,
It's okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
we went back to the office, went back to work,
I'm
everything
okay.
was fine. Yeah, no. So 2 days later, I was in my office, standing by my desk, and I turned around and knocked my stapler off the desk onto the ground. And then I was telling you I had these issues with my knees,
Yeah.
and I was like, I saw the stapler on my ground. That's all I could think was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to. It hurts so much.
I'm not gonna pick
Like
it up.
I get to my I had like a bookshelf. Matter of fact, it could have been this bookshelf.
Yeah.
Right there by my desk. I brace one hand on my desk. I brace one hand on the bookshelf, and I kind of pull my pants like Chris Farley. I do this thing and kind of plant my feet in the ground as I prepare to like squat down to get low enough to pick up the stapler. And like I kneel down and I kneel down to 1 foot, and I'm down there on the ground. I'm like, huh.
This don't hurt.
This didn't hurt, and I was weird, and so I stood back up right away, and I was like, huh. And I get the stapler and I put it on the desk. I was like, oh, that's interesting, and so I squat right back down and I squat up, and I right there by my desk. I let you let go of everything, and I just start squatting.
No way.
No pain, like no pain at all. Yeah.
How weird.
At all.
What the heck did she do?
As a matter of fact, to this day, I have not had any knee pains.
Really?
At all.
Oh, man. This woman no longer is there.
And so with my hip issue, I've gone looking for her. I think she's already deceased.
Oh, man.
If she was pushing 100, she would be like 110, 115 now.
Dang.
Yeah. Interesting.
That is pretty cool, though. I mean, dang.
Yeah, like... One of those. So ever since then, I've gone to a number of acupuncturists, and I've looked for that same kind of response. Went to some really crazy hole in the walls between here and El Paso through Mexico. One old man that would get needles and put it in you, and he would like dig them in you. Painful.
Oh God. Went
to guys that put 100 needles, couple, just never got the same response. This current guy I go to, the place is called Black Tortoise, I think in El Paso, Texas. About my age, I can really respond to him, and I feel like I get a good response from him.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but that's the closest by a long shot to that very first experience.
How weird. How cool, though.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
That is really freaking cool.
Right? Okay, yeah. And I wish she was around because I could really use her right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like... But, so, just to kind of wrap around on that. So, this has been a long journey, a long, painful journey, and I've lived with it. And this last... Since I've started testing up to now, it's like every month it just gets worse and worse again. And there's just days that's hard to shower, there's days hard to get dressed, there's days that are hard to get out of bed. And I'm down to the final week and a half where I'm going to go into like have hip surgery now. And people are like, "Are you anxious? Are you scared?" It's like, no, I'm ready.
You're
just
excited.
do it.
That's what you've been saying.
Just, dude, I will bring my own pocket knife and I'll open it. Let's get started now. Like,
oh my gosh.
Like, I don't know how people 100 years ago lived like this with this kind of pain. Don't know how they did it. Like, when I tell you I walk around with my work bag with a pharmacy of medicine because there's just some days that it's bad. Oh, yeah. I've got so much medicine. So many different codeines, odines, dilosine. Like, in my bag I walk around with just because there's some days I have to make cocktails of stuff just to get through the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm so ready for this. And, yeah. So when people say, like, are you going to be out for like a month? No.
So I keep asking.
No.
I'm
It's
like,
like,
dude.
well, dude, you have to be off your feet for a month. No, they're gonna put a new hip in me made out of titanium. I intend to be off my feet for 24 hours. And just so you know, I lost my fingertips. Most people don't know this about me. They did a thing called a groin flap where they insert what's left of my fingers into my hip to get the blood flowing. Mm-hmm. And the procedure should last about 3 weeks, where they let the skin grow on your fingers and let the blood flow through your hand. They only left the fingertips in my body for 10 days out of 3 weeks.
Really?
Before they detached them. The day I got my fingers detached from my body and they put about 20 stitches on to hold the skin on there that they put on there, I had about 40 staples in me from the procedure, and they put a metal apparatus into my hip, into my forearm to hold my arm there against my body. So I had about 40 staples. The day they discharged me, I took a bike ride down to Fort Selden. That's 15 miles away in each direction. I was like, I did that the day I got out of surgery. And so you expect me to be in bed for 3 weeks? Go to hell.
Oh crap! Ay. And I can see you doing that.
Like,
I can absolutely see it.
I've told the people in my life
Absolutely
I might take it easy for 3 days. I won't give any more than 3 days. I won't do it.
Oh,
there's
good.
too much. There's too much to life to live.
Yeah.
The hell with that. I won't squat 500 pounds.
Don't.
But I will be on my feet,
Yeah.
and I will be out and about because we're too old and life's too short to be laying in bed for 2, 3, 4 weeks.
You know,
Hell with that.
and if anyone, because I don't know, anyone listening, you heard it first, and honestly, yep. Like, if anyone, like, is skeptic to think, like, oh, no, he's not gonna. No. I've known you for too long. You're a stubborn son of a biscuit.
Yeah.
I won't say the B word, but you are pretty freaking stubborn, and when you get something in your head, you're going to make it happen. So
when I got the cortisone shot, they wouldn't let me.
believe it.
They were like, no, somebody has to pick you up from the hospital. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm ready to drive home. Well, I didn't drive home from the cortisone shot, but later that afternoon, I went and came back to get my truck, and I drove home. I was like 4 hours later. I was like, it's a cortisone shot. I'm not dead.
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay, so that's that. So,
Ay.
so you and Fabio Fabuloso, the people in my life, you've been on this journey with me for a while, and it sucks. But I see a light at the end of the tunnel of this.
I see it for you too. Honestly, I really do. It's gonna be awesome for you.
And I guarantee you, I am not gonna waste another moment on this damn thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe you.
I really want to go play another game of rugby. I want to go do a little bit more grappling and jump out of a plane and go back down to Colombia.
It's definitely not like you to like slow down. And even though if this is your version of slowing down, it's more than what most people do, which is pretty freaking amazing when you think about it.
There's that one saying, God, I hate when my phone locks and I have to punch in the code. It's like, isn't it like passcodes like the worst? But there's a saying, don't go into the night. There's a quote, and it's from what's that one movie where they go into space? Matthew McConaughey.
Are you talking about T.S. Eliot? Are you talking about?
Yeah.
Are you talking about that one poem?
Don't go into that night. Don't go gentle into that good night.
Are you talking about? Is it T.S. Eliot?
This says. Let me see at the bottom.
Is it
from the poem? No, from the poem by Dylan Thomas.
Oh, Dylan Thomas.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of T.S. Eliot.
I don't know. I thought T.S. Eliot was, but this says, "Do not go into that good night.
Oh, yeah.
Old age should burn and rave at close of day. At close of day, rage and rage against the dying of the light."
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one like, "Around the prickly pear we go, around the prickly pear we go."
And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage and rage against the dying of the light.
I think our symptom of drinking tequila is poetry.
It is.
My God.
Well, before we move on, you know what I tell people, and you tell me if you know what this is from, and if anybody knows what this is, drop it into the chat. But every now and then somebody at work will say something, and I'll say, you're a better man than me, Gungadin.
What?
Gungadin.
You're a better man than me,
Gungadin. Every now and then somebody in my life will say something, or they'll say, I'll do this, or I'll do that, or I should do this, or I should do that, or somebody will say something, and I always tell them, you're a better man than me, Gungadin.
Dang it, who would say
Gungadin.
such a big... What?
I mean, and if you were able to make connections, you should be able to connect to the time frame of Gungadin into that helmet.
Oh. Talking about World War One movie. Are you talking about?
No,
You're
no,
talking
I'm not.
about Doomsday. You're talking about
No,
Private.
no,
No,
no.
I haven't.
It's just.
Which one?
It's just. It's It's a World War One poem.
Oh.
It's called Gunga Din. Gunga Din, and I believe it's by
The Wasteland.
what's that?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking about the T.S. Eliot. There's this poem that I used to love to always read.
So before we get into the most current events, it's by Rudyard Kipling.
Kipling.
Kipling, you know Kipling, right?
Yeah, I do.
Gunga Din by Rudyard Kipling, and I don't say the whole thing. It's a long poem, but let me see if I can barely read it because I don't have my glasses. But let me see. Where it's always double drill and no canteen. It'll be squatting on the coals, giving drink to the poor damn souls. And I'll get a swing in hell from Gunga Din. Yes, din din din. You Lazarusian leather Gunga Din. Though I've belted you and flayed you by the living God that made you. You're a better man than me, Gunga Din. I love that poem, but talk about like people that live in amnesia, and it's a common thing. That's something that we talk about. A great poem that was written by a great writer from that era. Gunga Din by Rudyard Kipling. You may talk old gin and beer when you're quartered safe dinner, and you're sent to penny fights and outer shots. It's when it's come to slaughter, you will do your work on water, and you'll lick the blooming boots of that's got it. Now in just sunny clime where I used to spend my time, a serving Her Majesty the Queen of all them black-faced crew. The finest man I knew was a regimental Bishti Gunga Din. He was din din din. You lump oh brick dust Gunga Din. Slippin' litheroo, water getterin', panty low. You squinty nose, old idle Gunga Din.
You know, we're talking about World War One poems.
Yeah. Gunga Din.
It's really weird because like I've always liked this poem by T.S. Eliot. It's the Hollow Man, not the Wasteland.
Which
and
one?
It's and I'll probably just share the part that most people will remember. Let's see. This is probably what people will most remember this poem by. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends, not with a bang but a whisper.
Wow.
Have you heard that? You've heard no?
Oh yeah.
Holloman.
Holloman. Funny that we live near a place called Holloman Air Force Base.
Oh, weird, right?
Yeah.
Ah.
That's in Holloman Air Force Base is the Air Force Base nearest ground zero of the Trinity site. And you talk about the world ending in a whisper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's funny, like the synchronicity of it all, right?
And it's weird how like this is a poem that I used to always like to read when I was like in college. This is like one of the things I've always I love this poem, but never really understood the significance of it until like, you know, I don't know, sometimes things speak to you, but you don't understand why.
What is it called?
It's called A Hollow Man. It's a T.S. Eliot.
But it really speaks to you.
I don't know why it ever did, and it's so weird because it's like, I don't know, it's just sad.
Yeah,
it's sad.
Yeah, it's funny how stuff speaks to you when you get older.
It's so weird, but it's you know it's always had like something that I was always drawn to, but it's still a sad thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Where are the Hollow Men?
Mhm.
Wow. I'm gonna read it when I'm done.
Yeah.
Behaving as the wind behaves, no nearer. Wow, that's a long one too.
Yeah, it is. I'm not gonna read it now. Like I encourage you to go read it.
Wow. This is the way the world ends,
Mm-hmm.
not with a bang, but with a whimper. And it kind of goes in hand with what
Yeah.
what did Einstein say? World War III will be fought with sticks, or how do they say that?
It's
Bows and arrows, or something like that, or sticks and stones.
basically
Meaning-
because you just destroyed the world, so you're just
Yeah.
having to start all over again.
Yeah, you're having to start all
Yeah.
over again. Yeah. So, and it brings us to an interesting point.
Yes.
Uh,
Whimper.
I don't remember when Ronald Reagan was shot.
I do not remember that either, but it did happen.
I remember how ludicrous it was.
I
Do you know why the guy shot Ronald Reagan?
don't even wait a minute.
He was in love with, I think it was Jodie Foster.
Yes, Jodie Foster,
and he was trying to like win her love and impress her.
He was trying to like get her attention or something weird like that.
And
You're
shot
absolutely
the president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he shot the president.
How weird.
You know, and presidents have been shot. Theodore Roosevelt was shot, and he had his eyeglasses case in his Bible in his pocket, and it stopped the bullet. So he gave like an hour and a half speech thereafter, and before he went to the hospital. Theodore, who was before Theodore Roosevelt? It was McLean or something like that. That was shot and killed. That made Theodore Roosevelt president because he was vice president, and then you have JFK that was shot. You have Lincoln, Grover Cleveland. So you have these history of presidents being shot, and then you have
Before
Donald
you go
Trump.
into that, I need to call a game off. Let's hold off. A
game off.
I have to. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I can hear you now. Okay, game on.
Game on.
Game on.
Game
Game
on.
on.
Game on. We're so ridiculous. So ridiculous.
You have to be old enough to be an idiot like we are to understand the game off and game on from Wayne's
Game
World.
on.
Game on. Oh my God, I love those guys. Who played Wayne?
Dana, is it Dana? Wait, is it?
No, not Dana Carvey.
Mike Myers. No.
Mike Myers.
Mike Myers?
I saw Mike Myers not long ago, like on a program. I don't know if it was SNL or something. Ya comenzamos, chica. Okay, so let's do the game on. I got it. Game on. Game on.
Game on. Game on. Game on.
We had game on a second ago. That people walk in and then we're like, game on again. Dang it.
Game on.
Ah.
Game on.
This is what happens when you're trying to do a startup podcast in a room separated in your own house, and you don't have like a real studio. You have to worry about people and dogs. And I remember once we had like the birds tweeting away. It's like, shut up, birds.
I kind of feel like a stepbrother. Oh, no. What is it? Wedding Crashers? Mom, we want the meatloaf.
No, we're going to be out here podcasting. Buy the meatloaf.
We want the meatloaf. I don't know what she's doing back there. We want the meatloaf.
We want the meatloaf, Mom. Oh my God, that's so
want the
funny.
meatloaf.
That's so hilarious. That's
Stupid.
oh my
It's so
God,
stupid.
that's so dumb.
That's the problem with me. I'm hardly ever serious. And then to adults
Oh my God.
is a challenge
My,
because my brain is constantly thinking of these things, and I'm like, I can't say that out loud.
My friend,
Damn it, why can't I say that?
a good friend of mine, an amazing young man that lives in Hawaii. His name is Matt Yulo. Mahalo, Matt. I'll forward this to him. But if he makes it to this long in the podcast, God bless you. You're a better man than me, Gungadin. But mahalo, Matt. But when we were in college, Matt Yulo had he knew every saying to everything.
Did he?
Oh my God.
Mom, we want the
Okay,
meatloaf.
so,
Okay. It sounds like we probably
So
With-
things are gonna get real here in a second.
really
So it is. So
kind of felt like
so
mixing this drink was getting
I know,
real.
right? I feel
right.
like I feel like I should wear my mariachi hat to lighten it up, but you can't. You know,
What's
yeah,
this
like-
tequila?
I know, right? We're drinking tequila. Wear a mariachi hat. You got to. Get rid of the mariachi. I'm gonna buy you mariachi. Tell you what,
Can we have that?
we can wear wigs next
soon?
time. I've got wigs.
I got some. I
I-
got
I have
a
wigs.
weird wig.
I have wigs.
Really?
I have old lady wigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got like 6 of them in the office.
I would totally love
I've
to
got
do
like
that.
I got like 5 old lady wigs and an afro wig. So you can have your choice.
I kind of want to do an afro. I want an afro out.
Okay, I'll wear old lady wig. You wear an afro.
Yeah?
Yeah. let's do it.
Cool.
Let's on. Game on.
Game on.
Game
All
on.
right.
So yeah. So I I have this little Mexican lady here in my life, and she was saying like, oh my God, those. So you're telling me the presidential candidate, there was an assassination attempt against a presidential candidate. What's going on with America? Which.
Has happened before.
No. Which really annoyed me because I was like, a socialist president was just elected in Mexico. I mean, as socialist as it gets, Mexico is starting to become Stalin communist Russia. I mean, this woman that was elected to president of Mexico, and this is a whole nother conversation. She's extremely, extremely socialist. Unless we have a leader like Donald Trump, Donald. First name?
Donald Duck. Donald Trump.
Why am I saying Donald?
You are saying Donald.
It is. Is it Donald?
You're talking about yes, you're talking about Donald.
Is it Trump?
Yeah. How particularly. You're absolutely correct.
Is it really? I mean, Donald J. Trump. I don't know why Donald sounded weird for a minute. But
I hate when I stop understanding English.
do you ever like when you say something and you're talking in your mind, you're like, oh, that doesn't sound right. That sounds funny. In the end, you're saying the right thing, but the whole time you're like in your mind, you're questioning yourself. Is
I'm
that really the
questioning
name?
myself right now. I'm wiping the table with my hand as you're contemplating the words.
Donald J. Trump.
Continue.
So she says she couldn't believe that there was an assassination attempt in America.
I
Now-
can. It's so sad.
Now, in America, there is a history of assassination.
Yeah,
Not that it's new. And there's a history of successful assassinations. More than people probably know.
So are we talking about the failure of this one? What the heck?
No.
heck? But honestly, it is still surprising.
When this person from Mexico, and look, I love Mexico. I love Mexico culture. I love all that. But when you're telling me like how weird that your country has an assassination attempt, how many Mexican presidential candidates were successfully assassinated before the elections?
Well, also,
Wasn't something like
have ever,
wasn't like 4 to 6 people in Mexico assassinated that were possible presidential candidates?
Are we? It's
Like
so-
no, like was it
Yeah.
in Mexico like 4 to 6 people killed that were possible presidential candidates?
I thought so.
So don't compare us to Mexico.
I thought so.
Like
So is this
I don't want to be mean and all that. Like there's coups around the world. Look at Russia. You have a president that's president for life, which is theoretically not a president. It's more like a dictator.
Yeah.
Don't compare us to other countries, because you know what? Worse things happen in other countries. It just so happens it happened in America,
When you're living-
which is like the most socially and media connected country in the world. It just so happened, and so our 24-hour media news cycle throws it in the face of that every 5 minutes.
And,
so
and the story was developing, like
Yeah.
as it happened.
Right.
The story wasn't even completely written out.
It's
and
not like
it was just
it's not like in Mexico, 24 hours, 48. Like 2 weeks later. Oh, by the way, this candidate was assassinated.
well,
Do you know what I
okay.
mean? So let's put it into context.
Okay, but also too though, you were there, and this is your personal story.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, did not the city of Juarez just basically shut down because
Yeah.
cartel were basically running the street,
Yeah.
trying to free their friend,
Yeah.
and people like died
I
because
was in Juarez,
I
Mexico,
know.
when there was a cartel invasion, and I couldn't get out of the town.
who the heck
I was
shuts
stuck.
down a
I was
city?
stuck in a mall because everybody was too afraid
to
get
be
me
on the street.
10 minutes to the border to the United States.
But this is like, okay, so that to
So-
me is severe.
So when you're trying to compare the United States to like
To me, that's a war zone.
Yeah.
You basically stop
So
a city
I've
from functioning.
I've said this before, and I've said it to my
That's a war
I've
zone.
said it to my Mexican friends, and they don't like it. But I've essentially said Mexico is a failed state. There's a figurehead there that
Mm-hmm.
acts as the role of as a president, but it's a failed state. They can't stop the cartels.
No, they can't.
No.
And the presidents that have tried in the past. Okay, so from what okay.
After Fox, it seems like it hasn't worked since then.
Well, the thing about it is
Yeah.
the drug trade has always been happening.
Yeah.
It's always been there. But when you start to come after the cartel,
Yeah.
you freaking anger them. It's
Yeah.
like,
But that used to not be the thing. That wasn't a thing. People had they had the election cycles, and presidential candidates were assassinated by people affiliated with the other political parties, not with criminal cartels.
but the thing about it is like South America,
Which I love South America.
it's
Yeah.
beautiful out there.
I swear I'm going to go move to Colombia.
You should.
I think I will eventually one day.
And I'll visit you.
Yeah. I might leave everything and everyone behind, but you can come
Dang.
visit me.
All right.
But
If
but,
I can
so,
find you. It'll be like
So
Fast and
this
Furious.
weekend on the 14th? No, the 13th, the Saturday.
Yeah.
I've got to look at my calendar again. On the 13th, there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump.
Yeah. Well, he was a president.
Well, the former president,
Yeah,
right?
former president. But still, that's like, it's crazy. But running for president,
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And
running, candidate running.
so here's what happened the day of, and I was like on the news that I was on every channel trying to get everything what's going on happening in
I didn't
Pennsylvania.
even know until actually I was cleaning house, and it was Artie that just like
Did he tell
messaged
you?
me. He messaged me
So-
and like he said, someone
Try to kill the president.
Yeah, someone shot Trump. He said someone shot Trump, or no, he said Trump been shot.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck are you talking about? Like,
So-
let me read up on this.
So, like, I kept on it all day, and nothing about the shooter came up till later that day, later that night. But there was no motive as to the shooter. And I think as Sunday came along, by Saturday night, I had the name of the shooter.
Do you feel like this is what is going to win Trump his election?
I think it.
I totally think
it's a
that.
linchpin.
I think that since he's been shot and he came out
I
on
said
top,
that. I said that. Matter of fact,
he is going to win this election just because he got
just
shot.
because he got shot.
Exactly.
And I said
people
that.
are going to be like, he's a real American. He's going to. And the way, oh my goodness, is this why the conspiracy
No, that's
conspiracy
different.
theories
Yeah.
start? Okay.
That's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the way his pictures and the way it was photographed, he's like with his fist up and like, dude, it's making him look so good
So
from the photos.
So the I was saying
This is what he needed to win the election.
So by 6 o'clock, by like around 6 o'clock that evening on Saturday night, I sent a message and I said, "This is what's going to win.
yeah, this is exactly what.
This is what's
why,
going to solidify it for him."
Yeah, and the media coverage
and a
after
matter of
that.
fact, and it must have been the next morning. I made the comment to my lady friend here, and I said that picture of him in the news where he holds his fist up, that's going to
That
be
right
his
there.
marketing campaign.
That right there.
That's it. And by Monday, I get email messages from the Trump campaign, and then email that came in on Monday, like fundraising messages and all that. The picture on the email was Trump with his fist up. It was.
And I know they've
Yeah,
been really
yeah.
they've been
They've been selling that.
Oh, yeah.
What do they call that? A hook, line, and sinker. That
right
is like
there.
a marketing strategic campaigner's best, like wettest dream right there.
yeah, that's a wet
it.
dream right there. That's
Right
what's
there.
going to make him win. That's
That's
right there.
everything right there.
Everyone is
Yeah.
I see
And
it.
so, okay, so that happened, and I was like I was glued to the news, trying to figure out more, listening to the live things, and I watched it over and over again. And Sunday rolled around. Got the by Sunday I already had the name of the boy, but nothing came up. There was already videos of his hometown and all that, and that they had a cell phone and all this and that and this. but not a whole lot came out of it on Sunday. Still kind of like why, the what, and all that stuff. And yeah, and by Monday, from another feed, I listened to a lot of different feeds.
I kind of feel like it's tragic on the shooter side as well, based on what the media is saying, that he was bullied.
First of all, he was 20 years old, and this is something I've told my friends. So he's a young guy.
Yes.
He grew up in with movies and everything. So 20 years old, you're volatile when you're 20 years old.
Exactly.
Like the guy that killed Franz Ferdinand, all those guys were young men that started World War One. Like they were all young. Giuseppe something, that guy that shot Franz Ferdinand that started World War One. They were all young men. So anyways, so he was a young guy. He was in his 20s, out of high school. He's a loner. He's, like you said, they said he was bullied.
And that right there, they made it a point to say he was bullied, so there could be some sympathy. And yes, there is sympathy to that, but at the same time, they're also making it look like the shooter was also a victim. But also think about Trump's campaign. What could he do with that? So basically, it comes down to gun laws. It comes down to, there's obviously a crisis here in America where people, we have mass shootings. And right now, it's just, we're so desensitized, we know it happens all the time.
The news came out, and they said it was an AR-style rifle, which if you're like a left-leaning individual and you're for like gun control, there's this whole thing about AR-15s, controlling those because you don't need an AR-15. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of interested to see if
where
this is
going.
What exactly. But if Trump jumps on this bandwagon, where is he going to go to get his voters to vote for him? Now he's a victim of this.
So here's what got me, and then I thought about this for the last 2 days. So this young guy, and what is his name? Matthew something, Crook.
We already forgot about this.
Thomas Matthew Crooks.
Okay.
So I thought about this.
It's
if you're 20 years old, you grew up with like all the war movies, White House Down. You know the Secret Service. You know how good our security services are. Like, you know they're good. They train with handguns. You know that, like, every movie there's snipers doing Overwatch for like presidents and all that, right? So if you're 20 years old and you're thinking of shooting the president, you know the second you let the bullet fly,
you know you're gonna die.
Yes.
You know you're gonna die.
You know it's a one-way trip.
Once you choose to shoot at,
especially if you're in Pennsylvania, where you're on one building and there's only a handful of buildings. It's not like you're there in the middle of New York City where there's high rises all around you and there's thousands of windows.
Would be equivalent to Japanese kamikazes.
Yeah,
you already know you're gonna die.
And I thought about that. I was like, if he was taking a shot at Donald Trump and he knew there's still Secret Service there, like, you had to have known you're not getting out. You're not getting out. And then was it today? I think it was today when they talked about what he did before, like that morning and all that stuff. He went to the hardware store to buy a ladder that morning. So he had an idea of what he was going to do, but he didn't have it much more planned beyond the morning of. It seems like such a classic 20-year-old thing to do.
No planning whatsoever.
No planning. You're just... And
it.
He was a registered Republican, but he donated like $15 to a Democratic Party thing, which is really weird, right? Like random. It's kind of very random. So then Sunday night, it was right around 10 o'clock, I started... I saw my first conspiracy video about the Trump assassination. Sunday night. Less than 24 hours later, there's already maybe like 26 hours, I don't know. But within 1 day, there's already conspiracy video about this whole thing. And this guy's railing on the media. The media is really pushing the idea that he's a loner and he's a lone gunman. And for some reason, that's a sticking point for this conspiracy theory, that the media's goal is to sell it as a lone gunman, a loner, and it just really kind of caught my attention. Like, are we that eager for conspiracy theories or something crazy that we have a hard time believing that real life is crazier than fiction? or like, or what are we as a people looking for that we have to look that deep for? And then by Monday,
Because we're just mistrustful of what we're being
everything,
told
right?
already at this point.
But by Monday, you have everything coming out of like people that did security in Iraq and Afghanistan. Like, here's the deal: the Middle East, Afghanistan, and all that just happened. We just pulled out years ago. So you have hundreds of men, middle-aged men in the 30s, that pulled security detail for really important people, diplomats, presidents, people in Afghanistan and Iraq, and so they understand security layouts, like suppression, like the whole 9 yards. They understand this. So you have all these people coming on the news about how is this allowed to happen? Because at this point, with being in war for 20 years and all this knowledge about security, why wouldn't you have been ready for this? Especially in a place where there's a stage, there's the presidential candidate, you have only a handful of warehouses within the radius. You don't have high-rise buildings. So you have, by Monday, when I'm watching it, there's like a lot of people coming out like, how did this happen? Why did this happen? There has to be collusion. Somebody has to know. Probably the only thing that really stood out in my mind, was
they allowed it to happen.
well, not that, but was that people were asking for the director of the Secret Service to step down, and of the failure of DEI. Do you know what DEI is?
No.
DEI is it's a program, it's a framework
DEI.
to promote the treatment and participation of all people in all programs. DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so by Monday, you have people analyzing the way the Secret Service responded, and within the Secret Service detail nearest to Donald Trump, there were 3 women. And people that were breaking down the video saying, like, these women were not responding to the fullest capability that you would expect from a security personnel protecting somebody like the president. And he says, so because of DEI, we're encouraging the Secret Service to hire people that are not the best for their jobs.
Interesting. But
Yeah.
to hire people in a position.
And so the director of the Secret Service, before she became the director of Secret Service, she was the head of security for PepsiCo.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, she worked in the Secret Service for a long time, but she was the head of security
They're
for
basically
PepsiCo.
making her out to be incompetent.
Yeah.
You can hire
Yeah.
whoever,
Yeah.
but if you don't manage whoever you hire correct, if you don't give them what they need to do their job, it makes you incompetent. I get that. I see it. Okay,
So-
I can see why.
So you're
focusing
you're focusing so much on equity and inclusion that you stop looking at credentials.
Yeah.
And and I'm glad that women are given opportunities that women in the 1920s didn't have.
But at the same time, being a woman, I also realize that if you're not like a woman and an American,
Yeah,
like
an American. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't give positions to anybody,
Yeah.
race, gender, whoever, if they are not qualified to do the job. Like,
Thank
let's
you,
stop
yeah.
being so politically correct.
Martin Luther King.
Like, just stop being so politically
give
correct
a man
and give
a job based on his qualifications,
exactly,
not based on the color of his skin or his gender or his sexual identity.
I don't care if they're the best, nicest person.
If you're the best person for the job,
yes, give the
Hands
job
up.
to the best person.
Yeah.
Make it equal where women have to, like compete. And we'll be all
and
right.
How about the psychological evaluation of, like, hey, you're a man. Are you willing to put your body between a bullet and the president? Hey, you're a woman.
Yeah.
Are you willing to put your body between a bullet and the president? Are you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to do that because you think you need to be given special treatment because you're a woman, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
then you are not the right person for the job.
And what you're saying is not
It's not
mean.
far-fetched.
It's not
It's not
mean. It's
mean.
not far-fetched.
It's-
It's just reality. Like, if in 20 years you envision yourself having a family and you don't want to deal with that of possibly being put in a situation where you can die, that's okay. There's no
Then
shame in
don't
it.
do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm
But the
all
fact
I'm
that-
all down for
But
women's
the
rights.
fact that
And
DEI is pushing it, though.
the thing about it is, I think that we're just so caught up
Mm-hmm.
on trying to say the right thing
Yeah.
and do the right thing and not hurt everyone's feelings.
Do you know what I just learned
It's
today?
ridiculous.
To be a publicly traded company on NASDAQ, you have to meet the qualifications of DEI, and you have to have somebody on your board, that has to be like a female homosexual and of a different race. And if you don't have somebody on your board of directors of a publicly traded company that is female, homosexual, or of a person of a different race, you have to give like a statement as to why.
Is this why?
So that way your company could be traded on NASDAQ.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, Jeanette, if you're the best director for my company, I should hire you because you can drive people and you can motivate people and you can get results done.
That is amazing, but please don't slip me any testosterone in my smoothies.
So going back to Trump. So here's something crazy, and I just learned this yesterday. And I think I sent you the video of this.
Yes, you did.
And this blew my mind. And like I say, don't try to be the crazy conspiracy theorist guy and all that stuff. But holy smokes, when I read this blew. When I saw this video and I sat there and I listened to the whole thing. This blew my mind. And if I can only find it now, and if it's because Lord knows I sent like 1,000 freaking text messages. Oh, here you go, Jeanette. So I sent you a video yesterday that came in. It came in from Coast to Coast I'm on the email. I like Coast to Coast. I used to listen to it when there was only AM radio and you couldn't listen to like YouTube wherever you were at, right? And this came in on from Coast to Coast, and the article with the video clip attached, it says 3 prophets explain 3 American solar eclipses from April 8th signs. From April 8th. And so these people are talking. Remember, we talked about the solar eclipse and what the prophecy means if you're religious,
Yep.
if you're from Israel, Christo, Judeo,
And where the
what it
meaning
means.
of where
I mean,
you can see it.
and part of the prophecy, what these people were talking about was like there's going to be a great earthquake in the United States. So early on in this interview, I want to say within 10 minutes, it's a 45-minute long interview, but within the first 10 minutes, one of the guys talking on here, Amanda Grace, Pastor Steve, Kioch Olanti, joined by Brandon Biggs. Brandon Biggs, this guy is like, I don't know if he's a modern day prophet, but he said he had these visions, and it was weird listening to him because he's talking about it, and he says somebody is going to shoot the President Trump, and the way he does it, he puts his hand over his ear like this. This is the same side Trump got shot on. And he says like the president gets shot in the ear and it shoots part of his ear, or like part of his ear off, and it's like half an inch or like within half inches of his head. And he's holding his ear the whole time like this. And he said there's going to be the assassination attempt on Trump that's going to make Trump like a born-again Christian because it's going to freak him out and shake him to his core and bring him back to God. And so he's talking about that. And I was like, I heard the clip and I kind of did a double take, looked it up, listened to the whole video.
When was that
And-
shot? When
and
was
the
it
video,
original?
the date of the video says 4 months ago.
Shut the freak up.
It says right. And
Wait, hold on.
And this is what I sent you. Look right here. It says 1.7 million views 4 months ago, right there underneath the big bold letters. Did that say 4 months ago?
Yes, it does.
That is 4 months old, and this guy talks about he has a vision that he says is a vision from God. And again, I'm not trying to get hokey on anybody here and say repent or do all that. Do whatever floats your boats. I like candles. That's my thing. But do whatever floats your boat. But this guy 4 months ago, he's doing this interview about President Trump being shot, and I'm saying former President Trump being shot, and he's standing there holding the ear on the same side that Trump gets shot on.
Did the Simpsons predict it yet? Did they predict
I don't
it?
know. It hasn't come out yet. If that comes out, mine will be blown. If the Simpsons predicts it, mine will be 100% blown. Okay. So,
holy crap.
This happened like what, 3 days ago, 4 days ago now?
It hasn't been that long.
Okay. So you and I were predicting long-term effects of this is Trump's going to be elected president.
We already knew. We've already been talking about it.
He's gotten tons of support. Like the support.
Yeah.
The support that he goes.
Kind of
the support that he's gone before a jury. The support that he's dealing with all that. People are seeing the federal government for what it is, that's being abused. Mm-hmm. This may be even make it more so now. Okay. So, kind of watching the news about Pennsylvania.
Are you going to drop the bomb?
Mm-hmm.
This is it? You're going to drop it? Okay, cool.
So we're kind of watching the news about Pennsylvania. FBI sends that kid Crooks. Mm-hmm. They're sending Thomas Matthew Crooks, sent his cell phone. I'm curious to hear about the FBI profile on him. You know, they do profiles on people. Mm-hmm. And I've been telling my friends that I'm waiting for the profile. I want to see what the FBI profile on this guy's going to be. He's 20 years old. He looks super young. He's not in school. I'm just curious to see what the FBI's profile on this guy is going to be. The motive. Is there like a Unabomber letter? Did he leave like a Unabomber letter somewhere saying that he's... You know what I mean? Like, what is it? What is it? So, I won't drop names here. So, that kid climbs on a warehouse.
Yes, this is the part where...
The pictures and the videos from the... So there's a couple. There's one on X where people show the video of him on the warehouse. They're taking videos of him.
They've already knew something was going to go down.
The people are trying to tell the authorities, like up to like 5 to 10 minutes ahead. They're watching him they're taking videos of him, and it's already on X where they were trying to like where they're saying like where they're showing the video of him getting in his position up there. So. Right next to his warehouse is another warehouse. Mm-hmm. It so happens, colleague of mine, somebody I know that knows somebody, family owns the next warehouse to that warehouse where he was on. Mm-hmm. And so some of the images that they caught of him were from their cameras.
Yeah. That
belongs to her family. That's like a family business. And I'm eating it. I'm like, oh my good Lord, like what the hell? And so... The first picture, and we can't send this, but I mean, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you, Jeanette, because you're Jeanette.
Aww. And there's only one of me, as far as I know.
There's only one of you, and that's right.
In the world.
That's right. So I just gotta find the videos now. Oh, here it is. So this picture comes from the family warehouse right next to their warehouse. So that's when the police are on there. That's been on the news where the cops are on there. They're standing over the crook's body.
Yeah.
Right.
Holy crap.
Right. That picture, and I'll post that one up. It's a pretty common picture now.
Yeah.
So the people that are watching the video,
yeah,
they're going to be able to see. There's a picture of like somebody in camo and 2 cops that are up there. So, and that came from my friend's family's business right next to that warehouse. So, here's the picture of the shooter when he got shot.
Dude, that's very Pablo Escobar shit.
That's the picture of the shooter. So, she sends me the shooter's picture.
I can't believe that.
So, it's a picture of the kid, the the Secret Service sniper shoots him, blows his brains out, and he's bleeding. And that's a picture of him right there, dead.
Yeah, no joke,
and
dude.
That's not going to be on Fox News, CNN.
No, it's not.
That might be on Telemundo.
That would be on Telemundo.
That would be Telemundo.
I've seen pictures of Pablo Escobar, like when they shot him down on the roofttops.
When the Twin Towers came down, that like NBC, nobody was showing pictures of people jumping. Telemundo had close-ups of people jumping out of the building.
I'm not a grotesque type person who would
Yeah.
say people need to see this, but honestly, I think that if more people saw this, I think that it would impact people from realizing that if you're gonna go and do a mass shooting, this is gonna be you.
Here you go.
Like, honestly,
you.
I think that sometimes we need to start showing the truth of what happens.
So,
Like, show the real truth. That's awful. And you know what? If I think it's awful,
and there's nothing glorious about that.
there's absolutely
nothing
nothing
glorious.
glorious. There's nothing. You're not going to go down as a legend. This is what you
You're
look
dead.
like.
You're
This
dead.
is it.
Your brains are blown out the top of your head, and you're dead.
And you just don't look like a hero, man.
So
You look terrible.
This
This is awful.
This picture of him dead looks nothing like the picture on him on TV on CNN
No.
on Fox.
No, this is
No
reality.
glasses, no
This
nothing.
is reality.
He's stone cold white.
Like, legit, guys. I'm seeing this. This is awful.
So okay,
Like, this is awful.
so
that's
I'm
awful.
talking to this
Oh.
person from Butler, Pennsylvania, colleague of mine, and unless you're in Butler, you're probably not going to hear this. I don't know. I haven't heard all the podcasts and heard anything, but she says the rumor mill in Butler right now is, here's the map of everything. She said all the major streets around the Trump campaign were all closed off and all that stuff, and she's telling me all this. The rumor around Butler, Pennsylvania was that they had a second shooter.
And that's what people were anticipating. Like,
They had a second shooter in captivity.
wow.
That they had him. They had this person
They
in captivity.
have a
They
second
have.
shooter.
Now, look, I don't know. I'm not a cop. Maybe the news know about it, or maybe they don't know enough about it, and they don't want to
Maybe
put
it's just
something
a
unverified
suspect,
out
yeah.
there. But for Christ's sake, the news puts out less credible stories.
Yeah, true.
They do.
Yeah,
So
for real.
so if there's a rumor of a second shooter,
Yeah.
where does the media cover it?
There's absolutely
even if it's
zero.
a remote rumor. Like I say, the media goes on these wild binges on nothing of stories that they, like I don't even know where to start. They go down the Jeffrey Epstein rabbit hole. When Pizzagate came out, they were all about Pizzagate and the kooks and who believes in Pizzagate, which turned out to be this big old pedophile ring that's kind of loosely related to Epstein. Like the mainstream media gets to pick and choose what matters to them, and stories that have some validity they avoid, some stories that have no validity they go after.
It's all about sensationalism. It's all about like what's gonna
Political connections. I
Yeah,
don't know.
absolutely. I don't
So-
know. I mean, I don't really. I'm not an expert. I really don't know. And this is why conspiracy theories exist.
This is why conspiracy theories
because we
exist.
don't believe in everything that we're. And
But-
maybe that's great.
But
Honestly, that's a great thing.
For some reason, citizens in Butler, Pennsylvania, have caught wind and have mentioned that there could have been a second shooter in custody that nobody's talking about.
Well, that's the thing. Like, people in the area, the locals are gonna know more.
They're going to know.
Than everyone else.
yeah.
Kind of like, okay, like Las Cruces. In the 90s, there was the bowling,
Yeah.
the massacre, the bowling lane, the massacre that happened in the 90s,
That's
right?
right. I remember that.
So, it's been all over the news, or
Mm-hmm.
it was all over the news. It was like John Walsh, Unsolved Mysteries, or
Right.
and he actually came out here. They did this whole thing on it, and then they came out and did another one on another
Yeah.
thing. But you talk to the locals, and not everyone's going to say it because it's not like we talk about it all the time. But you talk to the locals, you talk to Las Crucians, and they say it was all cartel related. No one is going to say anything, and no one has said anything
Right.
because everyone speculates it has something to do with the cartel.
And
Do we know it to be true? But we are close enough to know
the bowling
that it probably
alley,
it's very
the bowling,
plausible.
The bowling alley murders you're talking about, that happened before the cartel wars that happened in the 2005 to 10 to 15 area. You're talking about 1990.
Yeah,
So
it was in the 1990s.
so it was in February 10th of 1990. So in a sense, that was a whole 20 years before the cartel wars of beheadings and the Gulf War, the Zeta. That's before all this.
But people still know. There are people in Cruces that will not touch it. They won't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone will say it was cartel related.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go digging deep. I'm not wanting to know.
Yeah.
But if you talk to the right people, they
Yeah.
will know. Because the thing about it is, you live close to the border, you know someone of someone, or a coworker, or someone
Yeah.
who has been affected by cartels.
Yeah.
You know someone who has
You know-
a relative in Juarez
You know the
who's
fear
been
is
gunned down.
somebody that. Okay, if you have a very basic visa, B something visa, you can cross the border, and so you can work for the cartel. And I mean, you don't have a history. In the Mexican, they don't go in the Mexican police archives and all this stuff to see is this person a criminal. They might, I don't know, but when you apply for a visa, you fill out paperwork online. You show up for your appointment. You say you have a job in Mexico, and your family. You have a home in Mexico. So they say, okay, you have everything in Mexico. So that means you. If we give you a visa to come to the United States, that means you have to go back to Mexico to go work. We'll give you your visa. So that means anybody that meets that qualifications could get a visa to travel to the United States whenever. They don't have to take a gun with them when they cross the border.
Yeah.
I mean, they can because you're not patted down or anything. There's no X-ray machines
But you
if
can
you
get
walk
it
the
on the
ground.
other side.
But you can get it on this side. So if you were a cartel member, you could come to the United States. You can murder somebody. You can kill somebody. They don't have your fingerprints. They don't have your fingerprints to anything. And then you can go back.
And the reality is, getting back to
Yeah.
what we were talking about, the locals will know. So talking about Butler,
Pennsylvania, Butler, yeah.
Like the locals probably know more than anybody. Who would I trust? What the locals are saying. I would trust what the locals are saying.
And the locals were saying that there is a second gunman in custody.
And they know, and they probably know more.
They probably
And right
know
now,
more. See, you're not hearing it on CNN or Fox.
no, you're not going to hear it anywhere else.
Yeah. No.
But if you want to get to
Yeah.
the truth, go to Pennsylvania. Talk to the local people. They'll know.
The Democratic Party has nobody else to put out there, not in the short term. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. We're not going to bring California politics in the rest of the country. They see what a mess California is. Nobody wants to work with that. I mean, Kamala, the vice president of the United States, she's going to run for president? I don't think so.
No.
Here's what cracks me up. George Clooney going to the Democratic Party saying that Joe Biden needs to retire. Who in the hell is George Clooney? He's a freaking actor. Did he even go to high school or college? I'm sorry. What? So he makes millions of dollars and he's a movie. So suddenly he's the best spokesperson for the world. Has he had a normal 7-Eleven night job like the rest of the United States? Why the hell is he get to choose who the hell gets to be president? Oh, George Clooney's telling the Democratic National Committee that Biden needs to step down. The hell is George Clooney's opinion? He's an
I don't
actor.
care.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Biden refuses to step down, and after his last debate,
It's just been a laughing
was that a
stock.
mess? Was that a mess?
Yeah, you don't even have to watch it. Honestly, you already are. Anybody, whether you watched it or not, you already know the highlights. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's a mess, and it's embarrassing. And in fact, it's awful. It's really awful. It's very embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
And it really just takes away the dignity of this man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he's our president, but it's just the dignity is gone.
Yeah. And we deal with old people.
And it made me sad.
You know,
My gosh.
getting old's tough. It's tough. Wouldn't you say?
It is
It's
tough. But here's the thing. Like, you're a person in a leadership position yet again.
Yeah.
You want to be someone who is going to be credible, someone people look up to, someone who thinks that you can fix things.
Yeah.
You are put in this position because you are someone who is
Yeah.
reputable.
What was that thing about Biden?
Capable.
That he was,
It's not-
but he was only able to handle stuff between the hours of like 8 and 5, and after 5 he has to rest and all that.
Is that Sundowners?
I don't know, but
Jesus,
somebody
is that Sundowners?
there was this quote saying like after 5 he gets tired and he needs a rest. After 5, and I guess if you work 8 to 5 that'd be fine. But the president
is
of the
a
United
more
States
demanding job.
It's a 24/7 job, and so somebody came out and asked a question, and like I said, I don't remember if this was a podcast or something, but somebody came out and asked a question: what if there's a question or a phone call like at 1 a.m, and somebody says there's incoming missiles coming to the United States?
Exactly.
Who's going to make the decision to retaliate? Is it going to be his wife, Joe Biden, because Joe Biden's asleep and he's resting?
It's crazy.
So the first
have to
lady
be-
is going to have to put her finger on the trigger because our president's resting. It's true.
And the fact of the matter is, if that's the excuse,
Yeah.
that's a piss poor excuse, and people are not wanting to hear that.
And-
People are tired, and no one wants to hear that.
And here's something that's even crazier. Here's something that's even crazier that I heard just recently that that kind of got me thinking. Biden and Trump, they're actually pretty close in age. They're I want to say their age their difference in age is something like 3 years.
You're kidding. Here, you're gonna have to finish this one.
Yeah. So
There's only so much I can do.
So, oh, here it is. So President Joe Biden, 81 years old,
Oh, wow.
which is not super old. I mean, he's not a spring chicken, not super old. But then, former President Donald Trump, 78. There's only a difference of 3 years.
Yeah, but there's a huge difference.
There's a huge difference in mental acuity.
Mm-hmm.
So, what makes Donald Trump so sharp at 78, where Biden at 81 is misstepping in his words? Where he has those moments where he's like,
Well, everyone's already saying it. It has to do with sickness, dementia,
Yeah.
capability, cognitive function.
yeah. I mean, like, but there's, yeah, it's only a difference of 3 years, though. It's crazy.
But 3
But
years,
it's
depending
like a
on your
lifetime of
genetics
difference.
or ability.
Yeah.
It could be something deep rooted. You can be probably the same age without any
Yeah.
other factors coming in or sicknesses, and you'll
Oh,
be
yeah.
fine, just fine.
Right.
But when you start to, I mean, come on, you and I both work in healthcare. We know that what senile
Yeah.
dementia can do.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not even called Alzheimer's anymore because you're not like, it's not the fast deterioration of what can happen when someone has Alzheimer's. It's the decay, Alzheimer's is the decaying of the brain. It's, I mean, they say it's natural. You slow down.
Yes, I don't know.
I mean,
yeah. I don't know.
Alzheimer's is awful because eventually it will, like, you forget, your body forgets how to breathe, how to
Yeah.
eat,
How weird, right?
and it just forgets, and basically, like, you shut down, you become a shell of a person.
And we could talk about all the stories that we've
Oh, yeah.
heard about people and what they go through.
That really is
But
senile dementia, if you ask me.
It's kind of weird though. Two different people at very similar ages having a completely different response, and it is what it is.
It is what it
It
is.
is. I mean, you could have somebody at really good health, but if it's their genetics and it hits them, what are you going to do?
I really hope that this is probably why at the time when John F. Kennedy ran, I
Yeah.
think that, I really feel like we need to stop putting the cap on age for presidents. That this thing where you have to
Well-
be older, stop. Like,
Well,
that
okay,
was
hold on,
exciting
hold on.
about John F. Kennedy
Hold
was
on.
that
Well,
he
yeah,
was young.
He was young, but here's the deal. Okay,
We need someone who.
why do they send young men into war?
Because they're
Like,
impressionable.
why do they send young men to war?
Agile, impressionable, they're of strength.
So,
And like I say, impressionable and of good fit. And yes, I understand with age comes wisdom, but at what point do
So-
we have to start having like a mental health check?
okay, so we talked. It's funny because we talked about D-Day today, June 6th, D-Day. So, on Omaha, one of the very first waves of soldiers to hit the beach was the 1st in the 29th Division, more specifically the 29th Division, the infantry division. It was a new division created, and they were training for the invasion on Normandy.
Mm-hmm.
The 29th Division. Their overall age, like the overall age of everybody on the division, which, it would just, I'm trying to pull this back up here, but like the average age of everybody
In this division,
on
the 29th division.
and I'm actually trying to pull this up because I've heard this number before, which a division is it's like 1,200 men, I think.
Yeah.
Depending on the number, of troops and how many captains, because naturally your commissioned officers, your lieutenants are all a little bit older. Your infantrymen that are just out of boot camp, they're like 18, 19. So, that's the. I'm trying to look. I heard this. So the 29th Division, the average age was something like 19, 20.
Okay.
Young guys.
Yeah.
Oh, young guys.
Yeah.
Like I say, you could join the Army when you're 18. You go to boot camp for 6 months or something like that. So most guys coming out of boot camp are like 18 or 19,
Yeah.
waiting on the invasion of Normandy, maybe another 6 months to a year. So you're figuring 19 to 20 years old. Think about yourself. Where were you at? What were you doing at 19 or 20 years old? I was kind of an idiot at my age. Didn't know my head from my rear end.
I was working
Yeah.
and saving money to just go to concerts for
So
2 years.
the
I
29th
need to go to
Division
concerts.
was specifically used on Omaha Beach for Normandy.
But is that surprising?
They're young. They're balls to the wall.
It's
they're
strategic.
gung ho.
It's strategic.
You're not losing your veterans. You're
Yeah.
using young guys that are inexperienced that are just going to go running out there like crazy. Let's go get them, guys. They're excited. They're not as scared. Like your veterans, if your veterans are invading Omaha Beach on Normandy, they're shitting bricks. They know what they're facing.
And in
They're
reality, these are the
almost
ones-
going to think too much. You just need guys to go out there.
You also need, yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
can see that.
Oh.
You also need people. You need the older. You need the older soldiers to
After you get in,
strategic,
yeah.
to be strategic, to come up with this. But yeah, you need people to plan ahead and like-
So the 29th Division was a bunch of young kids.
I can see that.
goes
Yeah.
down. I didn't never notice that went down.
Oh,
So the
yeah.
29th Division goes running in there, and there are a bunch of young people on D-Day because they're young. And part of the quote, but the old quote is, "You're young, dumb, and full of cum."
Yeah, I know. But
But they say
I don't
that
know
for a
but
reason.
They do
So-
say that because you're.
Why do you not want a 20-year-old to be the president of the United
I
States?
don't want a 20-year-old to be the president of the United States.
Fucking a popularity contest on freaking Instagram.
But that's just retarded.
I know, right?
Oh, I almost said the word that you shouldn't say, but I laugh.
Retard. I love that word.
I'm like Gen Z.
If you're from the 80s, you like
I
to say
know.
retard.
I know.
What movie is that from? No, that's from What Happened to Vegas. Right?
Oh, where he's like, don't. He's like,
He's
retard.
a retard. Did you just say retard? He goes, yes, a retard. Oh my
yeah,
gosh!
this
But
is
yeah,
fun.
but yeah, that's what that. I mean,
I'm just
so
gonna hold it.
I know, right? I didn't realize you're having issues
I
here.
didn't. It just like became more worse.
I'll have to figure this out here. I don't know why. I don't.
Okay.
But yeah, so you don't want young guys being the president.
Oh no, absolutely not.
That's
And in fact,
matter of fact. There's a saying that there's a saying. Why should you be afraid of an old man in war? Like in war, why should you be afraid of an old man in a young man's game? War is considered a young man's game. So why should you be afraid of an old man? That means he's lived through it all and he's made it to old age. Do you know what I mean?
either he's just gonna either okay. Yeah, okay, so I'm not trying to solve that problem, but okay, let me circle back. I mean, I can come up with many scenarios for that, but circle back. Presidents, yes, you should have you should have real life experience. You honestly, you're gonna get real life experience in your 20s. No, you're figuring it out. I figure like in your 20s, you're stupid. I don't care. You're trying to figure it out.
And here's something about you. Here's something about you, Jeanette.
Okay.
You've been up in a position of leadership. You run a successful business and all that. I mean, you run a successful business, even though you're in a corporate entity and all that. But you and your part, you run a successful business. I don't know when the last time you personally hired somebody. Like I think you and I, we've both been at a point in our jobs where we sat down and we actually hired somebody, right?
Yes.
Do you remember the last time you hired somebody yourself? You yourself, and you think about
what I'm looking for.
You think about when somebody comes in and they've been trying to find a job, and you give them a job, and they're thankful, they're excited. You gave them a chance. Like they're not thinking it from my perspective or your perspective. Like, hey, you need employees. They're thinking about, man, Jeanette's going to give me a job. I'm going to do a good job. Thank you. In 2 weeks, I'm going to have a check. But you gave somebody a job, and you can see that person. It means so much to them that you gave them a job.
Are we talking about soldiers in their 20s?
No,
now
we're talking
being
about
so
you and me
thankful?
and our experiences.
Okay.
When was the last time you gave somebody a job and the person that you gave a job to was thankful for receiving a job? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody that's in their 20s doesn't have that experience. Not a lot of people our age, I think, have that experience.
Well, you have to start somewhere. And I think that you and I are both wise enough to know that someone gave a chance to us.
Talk about experience. To have the opportunity to give somebody a job and to look at that somebody and to see the look in their face that they're thankful, they're relieved, they're glad, they're happy, they're like a million different emotions, but you did it. You're the one who did it. You're the one that gave it to them. That's an experience. Hell, that's an experience I don't think Trump or Joe Biden has. They've never sat down with somebody and said, here, fill out this paperwork. I'm going to hire you. You'll start this date. You have to do a background check. I don't think they've ever done it. Where you and I, we've actually sat down with people, and they're like, thank you so much. When can I start?
Yeah.
Like that's it. That experience that you have right there sets you apart from so many people.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm getting at?
I get it.
Yeah.
But I'm also talking about like at what age do you get enough wisdom to give a crap
36.
about what you're doing?
36.
It's either I don't know at 36 what you gave a crap about doing. 36.
I mean,
36. Your hands down 36. I'm afraid to ask.
36, Jeanette.
36.
You want a number 36.
36. I feel like you have to have some real life experience. I'm avoiding this because I don't even know what 36 you're like so thankful for. Like,
36.
Jesus. What happened at no, I don't want to know what happened at 36. I don't want to know.
But what I will have say though, like I say, if you've given somebody a job, you're light years ahead of a lot of people that have never said, I've given somebody a job. Because it's like that old saying, give a man food and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime.
Yeah.
When you give a man a job, you're teaching him how to fish.
I love that sentiment.
Yeah.
So in our next podcast, we'll talk about unthankful bastards. Just kidding. No, I'm not. I have no idea.
Oh my god.
And our next, we'll talk about
God.
people who are super unthankful. And then we'll circle back to the people who were thankful.
People who are at 36 did not have a clue.
I know. We'll talk about
my
the mistakes
God.
that we made along the way in every job.
I think at 36 I still didn't have a clue. Good Lord. Oh my God.
I mean,
that's,
I kind of feel
that's
like
a whole nother
I
conversation.
feel like we've already kind of gone through some stuff. We might need to.
I'll have to look at old pictures and see where I was at when I was 36.
We might have to.
You know,
wrap this
Jay.
one up. Think of something wise.
Yeah.
I think it's
I don't.
time.
You know. Yeah. You know. This year is interesting. Like we're already at month 7. We're already past the
know.
midpoint. So if you have to look forward and to see how 2024 is going to wrap up, because I did that for myself. 2024 for myself, on a personal level, not professional, on a personal level, it's in the bag. I'm going to have surgery. I'm going to have a rehab. I've got to pay my medical bills. So 2024 for me is like, on a personal level, it's done.
Yeah. My 2024.
2025 for me might be another story, but 2024 for me is already written.
My 2024 is written as well. I wanted to go see my sister in Germany, taking my dad and focusing on family, focusing on some things I've been putting off. You know,
So
having some meaningful moments.
So 2024 for you is going to be in the bag, family time, retrospective.
Family time, retrospective. Maybe helping kind of come into fruition some of the dreams my mom had for herself. So this year is super important because although my mom never got to go to Germany, to make it happen for my dad is so important
Wow.
to me. And that's why it's so significant to take my dad to Germany next month. And just to kind of like open up his mind about like other things. And to me it's like it's kind of like a something that we need to do. My sister and I and my brother, we all feel the same way.
Good.
And that's
Yeah.
That's why it's so important.
I get that. And then
maybe just
as the country, 2024 elections, like whether past weekend was accidental or not, premeditated or not, I think it's going to skyrocket Trump. Trump gets elected in November. I mean, we don't have any other candidates. Trump gets elected.
honestly, he's looking pretty good. I mean,
he's dealing with Middle East stuff. He's dealing with Chinese stuff, with Ukraine stuff. Mexico. I think Mexico has to go to the forefront with all the immigration stuff going on. I have my opinions on it. Having Mexican people in my life on it, I'm not so pro-immigration as people think I would be. You know?
Yeah.
I don't believe we should just get rid of borders, but and me being the person that love traveling, you know, like I'm not such a leftist, but 2024 is going to be an interesting year. We went through the eclipses in April. Was it April? Roughly?
Yeah, I think it was, yes, April.
I mean, listening to the guy that made the Trump prophecies that he would get shot 4 months ago, they still made the same prophecies of a big earthquake in the United States. They made a prophecy about the economy collapsing, which is really interesting. He says the economy is going to collapse, going to be rough, but it has to. And it was curious what he said. He goes, if you want to make change in America, you've got to hit Americans where it hurts. And for us, it's in the pocketbooks.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which makes sense. We're very egocentric. We're very centered on work and money and all that. So I can see that makes sense. You want to, if there's an all great being we call God, and God was going to bring us to the forefront and make us repent, another depression like thing. Maybe who knows? Who knows? But 2024 is the rest of 2024 is going to be interesting. I've heard so much about World War III already being fought on like on a SARB. I've heard a lot of podcasts I listen to that we're already in World War III.
Yeah.
We're fighting World War III on a non-kinetic level. No soldiers out in the field shooting each other, but like in cyberspace, in trade, and everything, World War III is full on.
Yeah.
Interesting to hear that so much.
Well,
Ukraine.
why would we think it would be our parents' war? We're in a different generation.
And
We're in
different
a
generation, different technology. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
what we think is war
Yeah.
is not going to look the
Yeah.
same as what our parents thought war
Oh
would
my
be.
God. Man, I don't, I have to think of my password to get in here, my notes. There's a book. Dude, blew my mind. I have to think of, she was just interviewed regarding her book regarding, a nuclear war. Her name was Jill. Let me see if I can find her name real fast. Jill something, and she wrote like what a nuclear war would look like in this day and age and whatnot. And here is this the interview right here. I gotta click on it. Let me see. She was interviewed on the Sean Ryan show, and she researched this, and maybe we can talk about it. God bless it. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see very well. But her book and her talking about it kind of freaked me out. Like, we grew up in the shadow of the Cold War, you and I. Like, I remember as a kid doing some nuclear bomb tests, earthquake drills, fire drills.
Hiding under your desk.
Yeah.
And we had to get under our desk.
But kids our days and age, like today, they don't know. They don't know about the idea of like the Soviet Union bombing America. So she talks about a possible nuclear war today, even being only accidental. But accidental, the whole world goes to hell in the handbag.
And it's so weird because, like, we talk about our generation. Like, I love the memes about Gen Z because they're funny, but there's also some half truths about the way we were brought up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And
the author's name is Annie Jacobson.
Gen X is the one I'm thinking.
Annie Jacobson.
Annie.
And I mean, she was talking about her book on an interview, and holy smokes! And like you say, the kids from Gen Z that grew up.
Not Gen Z, but we're Gen X. Yeah.
It's called Nuclear War, and it's really interesting.
Honestly, we were kind of messed up kids when I think about it now.
we had to deal with that. Like, our movies dealt with nuclear war, everything dealt, but
like seriously, we talk about like Karate Kid and like there's what was
Rocky,
that one?
Rocky, where he goes to the Soviet Union, had to do with the
always
Cold World.
Always had to be like the Russians were our enemies.
The Russians were our enemy, the Cold War.
Yes.
So she writes a book about nuclear war in the 72 hours of what would happen. And she does a lot of research on it. One thing she says is, do you realize we have only like 44 missile interceptors to shoot against nuclear missiles coming in? And if nuclear missiles are coming into the United States from like China, from Russia, you're talking about 2,000 missiles.
We're all dead.
But the same thing happens to them though too.
We're all dead.
I mean, to them, us, everybody. She talks about what the nuclear winter looks like, and that's crazy. Everything that she paints, like, if you're not within the first 10-mile radius of the bombs, that you don't die from the vaporization, like it's just the heat, the explosion, to the radiation burns. If you actually aren't in those areas and you survive, then you have to, like, she goes into detail about what nuclear fallout is. She goes into detail about, there will be a nuclear winter, what that looks like. Like, she's talking about her book, Nuclear War, and holy smokes, my mind is just like, I haven't thought about this since I was a kid. And I remember as a kid, like, having nightmares about nuclear war. Gen X, the millennials, they have not had to worry about this because our generation, as we were kids, the boomers or whoever they were before us, they ended the Cold War.
Well, I know for a fact my parents traumatized me. They're like, well, I don't know. I mean, you may not even make it into your like mid-20s because of this.
Yeah.
So I grew up as a kid, like being very afraid of a lot of stuff.
We were the last generation. We were the last kids to be afraid of that. because the Berlin Wall fell, and the Soviet Union became Russia. They became a democracy.
I remember that.
Yeah. So this book, maybe before our next podcast, I'll try to listen to it like a what do you call where you listen to it? Audio something or another. I mean, they're not sponsoring us, so I'm not going to throw it. But I don't know who's going to read it to me. But what I did read is she narrates her own book.
Oh.
Yeah, I kind of want to listen to it though. I think it's going to freak me out. So,
it's time,
dude. We talked about a lot of stuff today.
Yeah, we did.
I don't even know I don't even know like how to end this. All I can say is like the next 6 months, this year, 2024, I'm gonna have surgery. We have the elections. There's a lot going on, and I don't know. I always kind of come back to this. I'm not a heathen. I really do feel like I have God in my life, but I do think, irregardless of everything going on, have hope, have faith. I guess it's part of the human experience what we're experiencing.
I mean, just embrace it.
Embrace it, right?
Embrace it.
Yeah.
Good, bad, no matter what, it's gonna make us
It
better.
It works out.
Yeah.
It works out. I mean, we're not going to get hit by an asteroid and be wiped out like the dinosaurs. Maybe we will. I don't know.
I mean,
it could happen, I guess.
It could happen. I don't know.
I mean, we could talk about the lights I see in the sky. Maybe on the next podcast. I got new videos, yeah. Just embrace it.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that. I like that. Hey, you have a good night. Thank you for being on. It'll take me like a day or two to get this edited and uploaded, but to our 15 or 20 people that follow us, thank you for following us.
Yes.
Like us, thumbs up us. If you've stuck in this long with us to the very bitter end, thank you for sticking in. Again, like us, thumbs up on Spotify, Rumble, on all the major podcasts. If you're listening to us, thank you for staying on, and leave us a comment and recommendation for drinks or what have you. Thank you. Send them over, and that'd be kind of cool. Recommendations, and we look forward. We'll be on again. I'll hopefully maybe have one more before my surgery, but start the second half of my life with a new titanium hip.
Bionic. Yes, I love it. I'm gonna do the noise.
I'm trying to think of how does the noise go. That's an 80s. I'm sorry. If you're a millennial, then you're gonna be like, we're idiots.
But that's how it went.
That's how it went. You're right.
All right.
Friends, you have a good night. Thank you.
Right. Bye.
Bye.